Roll call of the members. Councillor Guanasso?
Here.
Here. Councillor Haas? Here. Councillor Keefe?
Here.
Here. Councillor McKenna?
Here.
Here. Councillor Morabito?
Here.
Here. Councillor Novoselsky? Here. Councillor Patch?
Here.
Here. Councillor Powers? Here. Councillor Rotondo? Councillor Rotondo? Here. Councillor Zambuto? Here. And Council President Giannino?
Here.
Here. Quorum is present. Approval of the journal of the meeting of June 13th, 2016. Calendar item number 1, a certificate of commendation will be awarded to Fire Chief Gene Doherty on the occasion of his retirement after 40 years of service with the City of Revere Fire Department.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So I spoke with the chief this afternoon. He is very grateful and appreciative. However, he is unable to attend, so this will be handed to him personally. And he's very, very thankful, and we are very grateful for him.
Calendar item number 2, a representative from Vivint Solar will be present to address questions relative to home solar energy installations in the city.
Councillor Guanasso.
Madam President, over the past few weeks, I've been meeting with area residents, mostly in Ward 3, in reference to this particular company. And brought to my attention was some disturbing situation. I saw a document that was supposedly signed by a homeowner, and they showed me comparisons to their signature and the document on the signature on the document, completely different. There was wordage and verbiage about a lien of some sort, and then if you refer to a section 6 in the paragraph of the agreements, it says there's no such thing as a lien. There are no liens placed on your property. Yet several of the residents go to probate court and they see this company placed on their property. This company has not been a good neighbor to our citizens. I have a few citizens in the audience this evening who will state their own cases. But I find it alarming that we have also an individual who lives and resides in this community who's the super salesman. The super salesman never gets back to the customers after they sign off. Once they're in contract, he vanishes, he disappears. He goes to the next individual and sells them a bill of goods. I'm looking for help for the residents of Revere. And if this type of practice, Madam President, is continuing in our community, and I know there's only 3 or 4 in the attendance today, but I know of several properties that have these solar panels on top of their homes. And each and every one of them have a different experience. Some of them had panels placed on their roof. When they had an inspection with the solar panel company, they said, no, your roof is fine. Some 6 months later, a roofer visited that location and deemed that that household needed a new roof. So the person who put the panels on there called the company. To this moment, today, to no avail. This individual had to reach out to the Attorney General's office. This individual will speak for herself this evening. This individual is an individual we place high position in our city. We have a high regard for this individual. And to say the least, she's been treated awful. She's been treated unprofessional, with no cooperation whatsoever. And the people who brought it to my attention, they're really outraged based on the fact that they can't get any spirit of cooperation at all from this company. Their neighbors, some of their neighbors around, he said, and both of these homeowners told me, we're okay, we can live with what has to happen, but I want to be protective also of my friends and neighbors who are being sold a spittle of goods that really isn't worthy of anything if they don't honor their word, that if they don't return a phone call, a simple phone call, they don't return. I have another individual be here and she'll speak on the pain she had to go through. And what the whole intent of this particular meeting is, Madam President, is that if there are any other future homeowners outside of this city and inside this city that wants to do business with this type of outfit, then we have to know this. We have to find out and prevent this from happening because they're under hardship also. unless this company can come forward and rectify the problems which our residents and our neighbors have asked us to bring forward. They've been going through a lot of pain. They've been talking to the Attorney General and all these various agencies. One thing we can do collectively as a city, we could stop it from growing. And then we can bear down and help those who suffer in the experience of what's happened to them. But at least we can stop this growth within our community. So, Madam President, I understand there's members of this company that are in attendance. I'd like them to come forward, and I also want them to hear the concerns of these residents that they have been experiencing for these past several months. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councillor. Is there a representative from the company that wishes to speak? And if you'd state the name and address for the record.
I'm sorry?
Name and address for the record.
My name is Adam McClellan. I'm the Regional Vice President of the East Coast for Vivint Solar. I live at 16 Bridle Path Road in Andover. I guess, do you want to open it up to questions, or do you just want me to address? I would
like you to hear from the people who have concern, and then you could speak to their problems.
Sure.
Because they've been trying to reach you, sir, and you've been to no avail.
Okay. They haven't been, okay, that's fine.
Don't tell me that they haven't personally called you. They've called your company, and any members of your company have not responded.
Yeah,
and that's why we're here.
I want to be clear. I'm not taking what you're saying lightly at all. So
that's good, and I appreciate that.
We're very concerned about our customers. I'm interested to hear what the concerns are and what we can do to fix them. I will let it be noted that we've recently, about 3 months ago, we terminated our sales rep that was working primarily in Revere. His name's Angelo Milia. And I will also...
That's not the individual who we're referring to, but
okay.
I would like you to hear from
sure.
the folks that have...
Point of order.
State your point, Councillor.
Sir, which LLC are you involved with?
It's Vivint Solar.
Right, well, on the Secretary of State's website that I have here, Vivint Solar is plural.
Madam President.
So there's more than one. Which one are we?
This is exactly what I wanted to prevent. I want to hear from the residents I've been working with these past several months to come to this point, and I appreciate the fact that he's here, and I'd like to hear from the residents first.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, Councillor. We're going to call the residents up following. I think he's just trying to clarify what company he's
Which
representing.
LLC? Because there's well over 30 LLCs, so which one are you? Are you Vivint LLC Solar Liberty Master, Vivint LLC Solar Magrex, Vivint Solar Mia Project? Which one?
It's just Vivint Solar. So we're a national company. There should only be one LLC.
So your national company is out of Utah, and okay.
That's right.
And your name is?
Adam McClellan.
Thank you, Councillor. Are there any residents that wish to speak this evening? Ma'am, just state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, councilors, madam, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jane O'Brien. I am also in Ward 3. Oh, sorry. My name is Jane O'Brien. I am in Ward 3. I have documents that actually say, I will have you review these. There was a lien put on my home by Vivint Solar, LLC, developer. If you would like to come up here and look at these with me, that will be fine. I dealt with Greg Hayward, June 24th, 2015. I had nothing but grief. I had called Vivint Solar several times. They have all kinds of information on me calling in regards to Greg not getting back to me, emails, texting, nothing. The couple times that he did get back to me, he was beyond arrogant. Told me he could do whatever he wants, okay? I have spoken with Xavier Navarro. Do you know, are you aware of him? He's one of the higher-ups. Fred Christensen, Hannah Broach, Marcus, Courtney, Alex, Liz Nelson, Jesse, Xavier Navarro, Brett Bruchette, was the last person that I spoke with, and he's been pretty good because Xavier was above everybody, and then he told me that Brett would help out. I wasn't aware that there was a lien put on my home until, because I don't really watch TV, that one of my good family friends had brought to my attention to come and watch what was going on over here at the councilors meeting. And I had called Councillor Giannino and explained the situation that was going on here. And I also contacted the Registry of Deeds. I had spoken with Tom Ryan, Suffolk County Registry of Deeds. There is a lien on my home. It has my name, Jane O'Brien, grantor, Vivint Solar Developer, LLC, grantor. The date that they had put this on here was December 29th, okay? None of this stuff was ever disclosed to me, okay? And I'm sure it wasn't disclosed to anybody else either, because people talk, all right? When I had spoken to Tom Ryan at Suffolk County Register of Deeds, after looking at this online with my own eyes and contacting the registry, this is what I'm gonna do. I don't know what anybody else is gonna do, but I'm not here just to fight for me. I'm also here to fight for every resident in the city of Revere. What you people are doing is wrong, okay? It's false. Everything you're doing is disgusting. It's beyond disgusting. This has been going on since June, okay? And now, a year later, I'm still dealing with this. I was told to contact the Attorney General's office, which I am going to do. I am also going to take you people in front of a judge, okay? Because what you have done to my life and everybody else's life, upsetting me and stressing me out, because you, and Vivint Solar is well aware, out of all these people that I spoke with over there, they're all very well aware. Go look up my name on Vivint Solar. If you call them right now, there's pages of it, okay? They all know what Greg Hayward has done to the people in the city of Revere and surrounding cities, okay? And they allow this? What do you people think you're doing? What do you people think this is basically criminal. He should be behind bars as far as I'm concerned, okay? I am going to contact the Attorney Generals. I am gonna take you people in front of court. I am gonna make you take off those solar panels off my roof. I don't need you. You need me. You're renting my roof. I'm not renting your roof, okay? You have no right putting liens on people's houses. I actually even have the paper here that on number 6, Exhibit A. Company does not have a security interest or lien on the property. This notice should not be construed as an encumbrance affecting title to the property. So what do you people think you're trying to pull? Seriously.
Sure.
Okay, read this. This is from you.
I've read it.
Okay, you read it. So basically what you're doing is going around and practicing false pretenses, not disclosing anything, because there isn't any way in hell, excuse my language, that I would put my signature to seeing something like this. I am livid over this. And what you people are doing is a disgrace. You people shouldn't even be in Revere or in Massachusetts or New England. Seriously. And that Greg Hayward, he needs to be behind bars, okay?
Sure.
So, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Madam Clerk?
Madam President, may I, point of information?
Councillor Rotondo?
Could we get a card so that we can keep in contact with you, sir?
Yeah, I've got one in my car. As soon as I run out, I'll run back in with some cards.
And how do you spell
You
your
just
name?
asked his information.
It's MCCLELLAN.
LL.
AN. If you want to verify me on the website,
Yeah, I do.
my rep ID is 61849.
Thank you, sir, and thank you, Councillor. Madam Clerk?
Good evening, Madam President. My name is Ashley Melnick. I reside at 89 Neiman Street. I also have a contract agreement with Vivint Solar, which was signed in May of 2015. My panels were installed sometime during the month of August. Soon thereafter, a leak appeared. Vivint Solar came out. They did make a temporary small repair and suggested that I get a roofer to make the more necessary repairs. My roofer came out and observed that my ridge vent had been crushed or damaged, like someone had been stepping on it. Mind you, my roof is only 14 years old. And that damage could have only been caused by people who have been up on my roof, which could have been only Vivint Solar. The shingles are also worn down, and my roofer observed that he made some temporary repairs, but it would only last through the winter and would eventually need to be replaced. So I contacted Vivint in April to schedule a panel removal in accordance with the contract. I have to put them on 30 days notice. I did so. Since April, the end of April, I have not been able to get a response from Vivint on temporarily removing the panels so I can get my roof replaced. Simple enough. How did Vivint install the panels if my roof was in poor condition to begin with? What happens if I can't replace my roof and it suffers damages because Vivint is not responding to any of my phone calls or emails?
I got it.
After numerous emails and phone calls to Vivint, being put on hold for 30 plus minutes, being promised that I'll have a call back, I just can't, I couldn't take it anymore. This morning I filed a complaint with the Attorney General's office. Calling, the contract says to call customer service if you have a complaint. It's an absolute joke. Wait times are 30 plus minutes. We'll call you back. That's the only response I get. Furthermore, when I signed the contract originally, I was told by the salesperson, Greg Hayward, that Vivint would be responsible for the roof once it's installed. I really don't understand the lack of response or professionalism with dealing with Vivint.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Councillor Guanasso? Sure. Are there any other residents just a show of hands, how many residents in the audience are here to speak on this issue? So we have 3, 4, 5. Thank you.
Hi. We think we have a contract with Vivint Solar, but we don't.
And if you'd please state your name and
right
address
here.
for the record.
Oh, Alice Mortale, 73 Stark Ave.
Thank you.
Do you want to see this, sir? The supposedly signed contract. Is this him over here? I have a contract here that's supposedly signed by my husband, but it's not his signature. Would you like to see it? You don't have to see it.
Just like to tell us your story and what challenges you're facing.
Anyway, the hole was put on December 29th of 2015. We never seen a contract. We never seen a contract till April 11th, and that was via the computer. I was surprised to find out that the City of Revere had a paper copy of this contract long before we did. So I pointed out, I called many, many times, and I called never, and they said to call this Tyler. And I called him in Utah and pointed out the signatures. So he said, send it to him. I sent a fax copy with a copy of my husband's license plate. That was May 5th. I called him a week later. He never returned the call. Well, first he said he has to go to the fax room or it hasn't come in yet. Well, we know he has received it. And I contacted Greg Hayward, and first when he heard, somebody called him about the signature, and he called and said, I could lose my job, don't throw me under the bus. I'll be over tomorrow to straighten this out. How about 8:30 in the evening? And we said, fine, that's okay. So then he called back, he says, what about 8:30 in the morning? We said, that's fine. And he never showed up. Anyway, this has been reported to the Attorney General's office. And I got everything here in the date that the when it first came on the computer was April 11th. That was the first time we ever seen a contract. And I hope that everybody in Revere knows about this company and it stops. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Are there any other residents that wish to speak on their issues? I believe there's one more gentleman, and then, miss, if you have any more comments as well. Sir, please
My
state
name
your-
is Jack Resnick, resident of Revere for 65 years. I live at 92 Ashley Avenue in Revere. I know quite a few of the members on the board here. And I'd like to say, I don't know if I'm out of order, but I'd like to say something positive of Vivint, because I've had the solar paneling installed 2 years ago. On my street, maybe 8 to 10 people have it. I live on Ashley Avenue. There's probably 15, 16 houses. There's 10 people, very happy. I can show you my electric bill today. I owe nothing for this month. I paid nothing last month. I have a negative bill. The solar paneling is fantastic. The people of Vivint treated me very, very well. We had a tornado in Revere, as you all recall. I saw a lot of damage, especially on Broadway. I didn't see any solar panels. I think they protected a lot of roofs. And as far as solar paneling goes, I'm all for green energy, and I think they're doing a fantastic job. And I thank you for the time.
Thank you, sir. It's good to have one uplifting story tonight. Sir, state your name and address for the record.
Ralph DeChico, 49 Washington Street. If I'm not mistaken, that's Greg there, right? And that's his grandfather, the salesman that we wanted at the council meeting. And so that's his grandfather, and that's Greg, who we wanted at the meeting, that we all wanted to talk to. But this is who everybody was giving the promises to, that's not returning the phone call, so I don't know why we're even talking to you right now, that we can't find you on the thing. And one other thing that I want to talk to is my parents are in the process of trying to do this with all these problems. Thank God it's not on their roof yet. And we were told that no liens would be put on their property. It's in the contract that no liens. And we were told that once you have the inspection and that solar panel is on your roof,
You're stuck.
Vivint is responsible if your roof ever needs to be replaced or repaired. So I just wanted to get that out there. So that I would have really liked it if the gentleman said who he really was. It would have made a good ample point. So I just wanted to state my case. Everybody knows I call it like I see it. Thank you.
Thank you. I believe there's one more resident councillor, and then
Another thing that I was also told when the installers came, because I asked about why they jacked up this ridiculous price on putting 10 solar panels on. One of the actual installers say they jacked the price up, okay? They actually told me that themselves. And, you know, I have to say something. Greg, nothing for nothing. You are the lowest of the low, okay? You don't even come in here as a man and stand up for who you are, okay? You sit in the back like a little mouse, okay? You're not even man enough to stand and say, I did wrong. Seriously, you're a disgrace. And your grandfather's up here
Miss,
sticking up for you.
on the commentary, miss, thank you. If you have any private comments, you can speak outside of the
Okay.
council chambers, but this is business.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councillor Rotondo?
Thank you. Ms. McCullen, I do have a question for you.
Sure.
Several things. Number one, on the Commonwealth's Corporation's website, the Secretary of State, you're not mentioned on any of the filings, nowhere. Not as a vice president, not as a president, not as a principal. However, you do have a LinkedIn site that shows that you are the sales manager for Vivint from 2012 to present, as it states in your present LinkedIn site on social media. That said, I'm a little concerned. I mean, I'm not sure if you are the vice president of the company, because quite frankly, you're not noted in the Massachusetts Corporation's holdings. You might have just gotten a promotion. But at this point, I think that we need to really direct all our commentary and more importantly, all our concerns to the director, Dana Russell, and Dan Black, who are both the assistant secretary and the director. Obviously, the CEO is Gregory Butterfield out in Utah, and I think a letter from us should forward there. I would also like to ask for a moratorium on all solar installations until we can find out what's going on in the city, and not allow any other company, to include yours, to operate in this community, to safeguard our residents as well as the well-being of the people. So that's what I'm asking at this point. Obviously, we'll talk about it some more.
Yes, thank you, Councillor. Councillor Guanasso.
If I may just respond to his questions real
Absolutely.
fast. So I'm the regional vice president of the Northeast. So I'm not on the holdings. I'm not a principal. There's three
You
regional.
should be on the LLC if you're.
No, I shouldn't be. So
So
there.
who should be on? Who should be representing you?
So there's no one higher than me in New England. So there's three of us on the East
You dress for
Coast.
the occasion, I'll tell you.
There's three of us. I just came from work, so I apologize. So it was short notice. But there's three of us on the East Coast, three on the West Coast, and all of our executives are in Utah. That's where our headquarters are. But I can answer any questions you have, including any of the questions that any of our customers have brought
I'm
up.
going to deal with who's recognized by the Secretary of State's office and not you. Thank you.
Okay.
Madam President,
Thank you, sir. Councillor Guanasso.
all I want to know is what's this gentleman's going to do for those homeowners that got up and spoke and have a serious problem,
Yep.
with no response, and they want you to provide some type of service to rectify their problem.
Sure.
We're not
I'd
here
actually-
to try to headhunt. We just want to get a
Yeah,
resolution.
I agree, and I've been trying to respond, but the gentleman over here doesn't even want to acknowledge that I'm capable of responding to you guys. So
Please direct your
I'd
questions
appreciate
towards
just
me.
a little bit of respect. I'm giving it to you guys. So the first question, I'll go through each customer. The first customer with the lien issue, our company does not, in fact, place a lien on any home. It clearly states so in the contract. We file what's called a UCC1, and box 6B is checked on every single one of those, which makes it a non-UCC1 filing. The purpose of the filing is we have to let the county know that we have property on someone's house. So if a home goes into foreclosure or something happens to the property, we have the ability to protect ourselves as a company and come reclaim our property. To her comment where we jack up the price, we don't actually charge anyone to put panels on homes. So if jacking up the price from 0 to 0 is jacking up the price, then I guess I'm at a loss. In addition to that, we consistently and frequently upgrade people's electrical service on their home, which is a $2,000 upgrade that we routinely do for free for homeowners. Our offer to customers is they pay $0 to have our systems installed, and they get cheaper power from us. So rather than pay National Grid 22 cents a kilowatt hour, they're paying us 11.9 cents a kilowatt hour. So even as mad as she is right now, she's still saving money on her power bill right now. And she got it for free. And she got a free electrical upgrade. So she got a $2,000 upgrade for free. She got electrical panels for free, but we jacked up the price on her, right? And on top of that, for however long she's had her system on her home, she saved money on her power bill. So I've got a document I'm happy to email you guys that clearly explains the documents that we file with every county that are actually required to be filed by every single county, explaining that we have property on someone's property. So again, there is no lien placed on homes. It doesn't matter. Routinely, people get confused. It's the exact same document that you would file a lien. We check box 6B that clearly states it's not a lien. There's no other paperwork to file, but we have to file a property disclosure on every home as required by the county. So that's that.
Madam President, what is going to do about the homeowner
Sure.
with the roof that
Right
needs
here,
to be
yep.
repaired?
So every home, and I appreciate your comments. So every home that we install panels on, we have a site surveyor that inspects the roof. Our policy, if we ever have to remove and replace a system in the event of a roof repair, is $499. It's substantially more to actually do the work. We eat that additional cost, okay? So if a home has more than 5 years left on it, or a roof has more than 5 years left on it, we'll typically advise the homeowner, roof probably is going to need to be replaced in the next 5 to 10 years. However, if the time comes to remove and replace the system, it's a one-time fee, $500. We'll take it down, we'll put it back up. That's it. Most of our customers are saving $500 to $800 a year on power. So 1 year's worth of savings pays for the removal and replace of the system. Keep in mind, we've installed over 11,000 homes in Massachusetts and more than 400 homes in Revere. We have a lot of happy customers. It doesn't excuse the frustrations that some of these customers have, and I feel really bad about it, and I'm going to speak directly with Greg after this meeting's over, and we've got some course correcting to do. I've obviously done a bad job as director and RVP on training my sales reps if the end result is this. I'm not happy to be here tonight. I didn't have time to go home and get in a suit. I got called in short notice. I'm just as pissed off as you guys are right now that I'm even having to be here, okay? So Greg's gonna hear about it when I'm done, and these customers are gonna get taken care of. In terms of the roof, we'll fix the roof. I'll take care of it. I'm gonna give you my card directly, email me, call me, or I'll just take down your info, I'll fix it. So, in terms of the signature, I'll need to get more detail. I'm gonna take her at her word, which is something that we take extremely serious. Something that's fraudulent is typically instant termination. So we have very low tolerance for something like that. I will say, all of our contracts and paperwork are done digitally on iPads. And so if you've ever signed for something at Walmart or Home Depot on an electronic iPad, it rarely looks the same as your signature on a wet piece of paper, right? Typically when I sign something in blue ink, it looks a lot neater than the scribble I do at Walmart or the line I do at Walmart or Target or whatever. So it wouldn't be that uncommon for a customer to get a copy of their paperwork and look at it and go, that doesn't look like my signature. However, again, I will take her at her word. I'm going to investigate and I'll take necessary action if needs be. So I'm trying to see if there's anything I missed. So anyhow, if there's any other questions, is there an email address I can forward any of you guys our information on the lien document?
If you could just give any of your information to the clerk, and then she can forward us if you have the information on those documents you were speaking of or anything like that.
Yep.
She'll give you her information, and she's responsible for filing everything out.
Okay. Is there I just have it on my phone. If I could email it to somebody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Madam President.
Councilor Guanasso.
Madam President, Adam, that's exactly what we were looking forward to. We were looking forward to cooperation, and you certainly showed us something tonight by coming forward and speaking up and actually identifying and addressing each issue that we've had. I hope that it comes to a happy remedy for them and for your company. No one was trying to hurt your company at all. This council here is to protect the citizens of Revere.
Understood.
It's no reflection whatsoever upon you, sir, or your company. It's just that we had residents that were very, very hurt by this, and they were concerned, and they weren't getting the cooperation. So I think you've alleviated that this evening, and we get all these problems rectified. I thank you publicly and hope that we come to a happy resolution.
I appreciate it. So if I can end, or I'll take as many questions as wanted. So I moved out here. I relocated from Utah 4 years ago to start the company out here. I started just as a sales rep, and I've sold over 800 customers myself, and I've never one time been in this type of environment. 90% of my customers are referrals. You typically don't get referrals unless you're doing a good job with your customers, right? And so hearing that people are trying to go to the Attorney General, it's very alarming. It doesn't just affect our sales team and our customers here in Revere. When one of our sales reps in Springfield, Mass. is trying to help a customer get solar on their home, and they go online and see a review from the Attorney General, that affects them as well. So we're trying to create an environment where people are constantly referring people to us, and so this is extremely aggravating for me to even be in here, and it's something I've got to obviously address. So again, I apologize to the customers, and we're going to do what we can to make it right. Anyway, it's just frustrating because as a company, we're invested into this woman's house. We spent $2,000 upgrading her electrical panel. We invested all the upfront capital on the system. We don't break even for years on these accounts. But to say that what we're doing is criminal or anything like that, again, we have more than 11,000 customers in Massachusetts. We've saved homeowners. We're averaging more than $5 million a year that we're saving homeowners money right now that they would be paying National Grid or Eversource. So we're replacing their power bill with half-price solar power. And again, that $5 million a year is going back into our economy. It's going back into Revere's economy, right? And so it's really frustrating to hear anyone want to put a moratorium on sales. You're penalizing, and I get it, we have issues we got to fix, but you're penalizing people that are trying to save money by getting solar power on their home.
I wouldn't worry about that, and as long as their stuff gets fixed, I'm sure that'll be the last word you hear of me.
Sure. Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councillor Guanasso, any final commentary or questions?
I just thank Adam for appearing here and thank the residents for coming forward to address this issue, because there are concerns out there, and you've rectified all of those thoughts, and hopefully we'll get all these rectified and straightened out.
Thank you.
Thanks for your attendance.
Any other questions? Is it something that you can ask him directly, or is it something that pertains to everyone?
Yes.
You have to address the podium if you're going to speak.
Sorry about this. Granted, we're saving money, but they're also making money. This is a government program, so they're getting paid by the government, okay? So the way he's putting it is the way all of them put it, okay? You can't trust a company that has done what they've done to so many people, okay? The upgrades, yeah, we're paying 11.5 cents per kilowatt, but there we also get two bills. We get one from them, one from the electric company, okay? They're getting all the incentives from the government
Madam
instead
President.
of the owner.
State your point, Councillor.
Point of order, we can't have a debate going on
Okay.
here.
I agree with that, Councillor. That's why I said
thank
if it
you
was
so much.
pertained to the
Thank you.
entire hearing. Thank you. Any other councillors who wish to speak on this matter? Seeing and hearing none. Thank you, Councillor Guanasso, for bringing this up. I think we got some great answers tonight, and I encourage any residents here that spoke, if they have any questions, to contact us so we can contact the clerk and help to transfer the information so we can get these issues resolved. Make a motion to suspend rules? So at this time, we have our state rep here to speak on an issue, so we're going to take up calendar item 20.
Calendar item number 20, motion presented by Councillor Giannino, that the following resolution be approved and submitted to the Secretary of Energy and Environmental Affairs as official comments to Wheelabrator Saugus's environmental notification form. Resolution, whereas the Revere City Council, on behalf of the residents of the City of Revere, find that Wheelabrator's proposed expansion of the Saugus Ash Monofill will negatively impact the health and well-being of all residents living within the City of Revere. And whereas the Revere City Council demands that the City of Revere Board of Health be included in all discussions relative to Wheelabrator Saugus's proposal, because the facility is located closer than 1/2 mile to the residences of many families in Revere, and the effects of ash disposal will cause just as much, if not more, concern for the residents of Revere who live directly across from the Pines River. And whereas the Revere City Council, on behalf of the residents of the City of Revere, demand that after the current MEPA process has been completed, that Wheelabrator Saugus apply for a modification to the existing site assignment from the Town of Saugus Board of Health for the current proposal and any other alteration to the Saugus Ash Monofill, or any change in its operations that were not allowed by the existing site assignment. And whereas the City of Revere, especially those neighborhoods which are in close proximity to Wheelabrator Saugus's incinerator and landfill, are designated by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts as areas of environmental justice. And whereas Rumney Marsh is a treasure to the City of Revere, containing 600+ acres of salt marsh, which provides a habitat for an array of wildlife, including migratory birds, and marine life, as well as recreational opportunities such as boating, fishing, and bird watching. And therefore, we should be focusing on preservation of this area of critical environmental concern instead of dumping additional toxic ash into it. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City of Revere is vehemently opposed to any expansion, meaning the addition of any capacity to accept more ash at the Saugus Ash Monofill, including this proposal.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. At this time, I'm going to call up our State Representative, Rosalie Vincent, for comments, and then we'll open it up to the Council.
Good evening, everyone. I want to thank this honorable body for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. As you know, my name's Rosalie Vincent. I live at 350 Revere Beach Boulevard, and I am your state representative. I represent the 16th Suffolk, the city, the people of Revere, Saugus, and Chelsea. First, I want to thank and commend City Council President Jessica Giannino for having the courage to file this important resolution regarding opposition to any further expansion of the ash landfill in the Rumney Marsh. And I'm here to say that I, along with elected officials in the City of Revere as well as the town of Saugus, and many, many prestigious environmental groups, and if you'd like, I can name them off, are adamantly opposed to any further expansion in this ash landfill. And as a matter of fact, I just got word, the Revere School Committee is also on board with asking for no more ash in the Rumney Marsh area. There's a few reasons, and I'll go on a little bit at a time, I guess. One is that the new date that this expansion is going to be, if they get this extension, is 2022. And unfortunately, DEP has been permitting this under a consent order. DEP has been constantly circumventing the town of Saugus, and obviously up until tonight, I don't believe anyone from Wheeler-Brader has come up to address their concerns with the city council. Maybe I'm wrong, but and they have been circumventing the town and the city. So I'm extremely concerned. Right now, Wheeler-Brader filed an ENF with the it's an environmental notification form with MEPA. And they're looking to expand their ash landfill, and they're looking to expand it by another, I believe it's 600,000 tons more, and it's going to extend into the year 2022. That's really unacceptable. This ash landfill was supposed to close in 1996, and for the last 20 years, DEP has allowed extensions on this, and they have allowed pretty much Wheeler-Brader to do whatever they want. This is the first time now that we have an opportunity to have them, if they're going to, they need to meet standards. So we are asking, and your resolution will ask for that as well, that they need to get approval from the Board of Health. There's no studies in Revere. They have studies, a small study in Saugus. They have not studied the health effects in the city of Revere. They've really done absolutely nothing for the city of Revere. And I think that Revere should have a place at the table. I think that the issue here, it's if you look at it, for the last 20 years, without any approval of any city or town, they have continued to put this ash in the ash landfill. They're going to say it's non-toxic, which is very interesting because in every other country, this top ash is treated as hazardous waste. Here, it's not. Here, they put the ash, the hazardous part of the ash, and they mix it and they make all kinds of, I don't know exactly what they do to it, but all of a sudden it becomes non-toxic. Well, I don't buy that, and neither do all the environmental groups that are on board with this to stop the expansion of this ash landfill. This is the only unlined ash landfill still in existence in the state of Massachusetts. We are the only ash landfill still in existence. It is the only ash landfill that is surrounded by environmental justice communities, which really do have a meaning, because what environmental justice communities are is that these companies come in, and because they're a poorer or they're a little less wealthy or minority, they come in, and because they offer money incentives, and usually in the poorer communities, they'll jump right on it. These are 3 environmental justice communities. We should be looking to make it right, not add more. So I just want to, again, commend Jessica Giannino for doing this. And I'm hoping the constituents, and for the edification of our councilors, Point of Pines and Riverside are extremely affected by this. Some homes there are closer than 1/3 of a mile. So I think we need to do what's right for our community. I think sometimes money doesn't always make it right, and I think sometimes our health and our environment has to come before the almighty dollar. So in closing, I would just like to say that I hope the council will reaffirm your vote from last year, because last year you also were in opposition to the ash landfill, and I hope your mind hasn't changed, and I hope that when it comes to a vote that you will support President Giannino's resolution. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Representative. Thank you, Representative. So for everyone's information, what we're going to do is we're going to open it up to the council, let the councilors ask any questions, and then to the audience, if anyone here, residents or any other organizations have questions, comments, or concerns. So at this time, we'll just start at the end and work our way over. Councillor Giannino, Keefe.
The obvious, Madam President, is that this affects Ward 3 also, because the Whale Breeder flows right across the marsh right into my home. And so it certainly is an interest of me. And I've said this for several years, that the high incidence of cancer in my area, including myself, is no mystery. It's got to be something that's in the air. And unfortunately, we can't pinpoint it to that particular location. But there's got to be something there. And I can recall that and I can testify by the fact that I've lost several neighbors previously from cancer, right in my immediate area where I live. And it's an unfortunate event that's happening. And you're right, Representative. It is the almighty dollar that dictates a lot of our decisions. But in this particular case, it's the health of us as citizens and residents that we have to be mindful of. And certainly this is one of them. And this resolution offered by the President is right on money. And also in the conversation that you just held before this council is worthy enough for us to vote in favor of this resolution. And hopefully we can prevent this from growing any further. And there are a lot of mysteries to that location as to what's taken place. So I am very much in favor of this resolution and very much opposed to their growth.
Thank you, Councilor.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to commend you and Rosalie, especially for being on this issue for the last couple of years. It takes perseverance to get your message across. There's no question that Whale Breeder is causing health problems within the Point of Pines, Riverside, and actually even near my house with the prevailing winds. I think we have to take a corrective action, and I think the state should really listen to what's really going on in the area, because that body of water is absolutely pristine, They're used for boating, sailboating, all types of public recreation. And I think it's a tremendous asset to the city of Saugus and the city of Revere. So I'd like to really commend you for your work, where you're diligent in it, and I honestly believe you will prevail when it's all said and done. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor.
Yeah.
Thank you, Madam President. I would also like to commend yourself, Madam President, and Representative Vincent for raising the awareness. I know that Representative Vincent has really been on this topic probably since you've been elected a representative a few years ago. You know, I'm sure plants like these existed and they became to our communities 50, 60 years ago. There wasn't a lot of things happening then. This hidden jewel that we have here on the East Coast, up and down Revere Beach Boulevard, when you sit at the backside of restaurants like Antonia's and you look across, it's something that probably wasn't meant for 50 years ago to be looking at, and I think that there's probably another spot for it to go, or for these types of ash landfills to eventually fade away and find better resources to eliminate waste.
Right,
So,
well, this was never supposed to be a permanent solution. No ash landfill is ever a permanent solution, and sadly, it's become a permanent solution for the last 40 years, and I think the time has come. I think enough is enough. I think the City of Revere and the town of Saugus has certainly paid their dues. I think Wheelabrator is a billion-dollar company. They should be looking for ways for closure and then look for ways to dispose of ash or whatever it is. That's their expertise, not mine.
well, agreed, and thank you for being a champion in this issue. So, I'd be happy to agree with President Giannino's motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor McKenna.
Madam President, Representative Vincent, as you know, I'm the president of the Friends of Belle Isle Marsh, and my concern is leakage from this toxic ash getting into that marshland, into the waters. I don't think there's ever been studies with the wildlife around the pines, and I really think that we really need to start looking at fish and see what they're carrying. I know toxic metals are coming out of that stack, and to Councillor Giannino and Councillor Haas, this goes into I think it's an 8-mile radius, so Lynn is affected, Saugus is affected, Winthrop is affected, Revere is affected, and who knows what other cities are affected. I know that we've shut down in the United States a bunch of them. I think there's only 4 operating at this time. I feel that recycling, there are now ways to recycle, which is a lot cheaper and a lot safer. And I just think that health comes over money. I mean, you can't even say it. So I am in favor of shutting this place down. It should have been shut down 15, 20 years ago. And let's concentrate on the health of Revere and everybody else that surrounds us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Morbido.
Thank you, Madam President. You know, in the future, I think we'll all see when studies come out how bad this will be environmentally for our neighborhood. Also, I think when you look back in history and see the story, you're going to see a story about a big money company that was halted by the City of Revere, that the City of Revere and City of Saugus and its people put a stop to a big money company who was doing harm to the people in the surrounding areas. So I am not in favor of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor.
I am in favor of the motion. I am not in favor of the landfill. I apologize.
I know what you meant, Councillor.
Councillor
Thank you.
Novoselsky.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, congratulations to you and Representative Vincent. I know you're strong supporters of this. I know my neighborhood, I can see the ashland from the top of Walnut Ave, and I don't like seeing it. I don't like seeing it when I'm over at the marina looking across when the trains come by it, you know, and blowing all that ash all over the place. But I commend you for this. I thank you for your service in doing this, you and Madam President. And keep up the hard work, and you got my support tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Patch?
Thank you, Madam President. First of all, I want to thank Representative Vincent for her fine effort and what she's doing at the State House for the City of Revere. In my ward, Ward 6, which runs North Revere into, on the marsh into Saugus. Yeah. And also Councillor Giannino for pushing it forward here in Revere. It's funny with the EPA, they're so strong on regulations in this country that they step aside here for this one issue.
This is the DEP has definitely been sidestepping this issue, yes.
Is it the state? Oh, how about the federal, the EPA? Are they involved in this at all?
We're going to get as many people involved in this as we possibly can.
I can't believe that they don't step forward, the EPA. I mean, they love to regulate, you know. I mean, it's just,
we do have support of Congresswoman Catherine Clark. So we're starting on the federal level now, and we are working with some of the federal delegation.
Well, keep up the good work, and anything that I can do to help you, I certainly will be there for you. And I want to thank you again for
thank you,
doing this.
Councillor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Powers.
Thank you, Madam President. I, like Rosalie Vincent and yourself, had occasion to attend several meetings over at the Saugus Town Hall and the Saugus Board of Health. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention another individual, Laurie Ellen Baker, who works out of Revere City Hall on neighborhood issues and has been very proactive on this particular matter.
As a matter of fact, John should be here tonight, however,
I understand.
She's in school.
Yeah, I understand that. You know, they run big ads in the newspapers. They tell you how it's not hurting anyone. And they give you scholarships.
Not Revere, though.
Not in Revere, yet. No, over there.
Wait,
and
Tony?
They give you monies for parks and playgrounds and everything else. But what they don't tell you is that the young children receiving those scholarships are playing in those parks and playgrounds can very well and may very well come down with some type of a lung disease because they lived in proximity to those smokestacks. I had a call about 3 years ago over there because people were complaining about the alarm. And the alarm was going off because there was a hole in the roof. And it took them 3 or 4 days to correct that. God knows how much of that dust came out of there during the 3 or 4 days. Get out of the Pines Yacht Club and look on the boats on certain days, and you can see it right there. It's no secret. I had a letter from a woman that lives on the Linway last week telling me how 6 members of her family developed lung cancer. Now, can you blame Wheelabrator for that? But you can't convince me that it's good health coming out of those smokestacks, because that's a fallacy. It's not. It's damaging to the kids in this city, the adults, and everyone else in the Revere Lynn community. Councillor Giannino, he lives right down there on the edge of that on Martin Street. You can see it from his house. It's probably, what, a mile, Arthur? People on Riverside. Now they want to go another 40 feet.
No. No, what the proposal right now is, there are 2 valleys that have been capped, which means that the ash is there, they cap them, and now there are famous bird sanctuaries there. What they want to do now is that there are 2, I think it's Valley 1 and Valley 2, 2 of the valleys which are closest to the rivers and closest to the environment. They want to open them up and add the ash into those areas, which those areas were originally mandated to be there to accept stormwater drainage. So I find that a little disturbing as well.
Originally, they told everyone that they wanted to store the ash there.
That was never
Store.
meant
If somebody
to-
says, I want to store something there,
Right.
it's only on a temporary basis.
Right, it was never meant to be there
That is never going to
permanently.
go away. It's only going to get worse.
Yep.
The piles of ash over there now are 50 feet high. They're 3
Right.
times the height of the houses on Riverside.
Right, so you're
That's
exactly
criminal,
right.
in my opinion,
It is.
if this is allowed to go on.
It's an environmental injustice, and it continues.
And you can talk about all we want here. If it isn't stopped, the kids that live over there and some of the adults over there are going to find out they've got serious lung problems years from now. Thank you, Madam President.
And just one more thing. Wheelabrator Saugus received the highest environmental fine in Massachusetts history for improprieties. So $7.5 million fine and that is the highest fine ever in Massachusetts history.
Thank you,
But they are an
Representative.
environmental company.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Rotondo.
I got to correct the record. This isn't the first time you've been doing this, is it? I remember in 2003 and 2005, we fought against the burner.
Yep.
Now we're back here again, fighting against another environmental catastrophe, so to speak.
And sadly, when the burner with the scrubbers, again, DEP, at the time it was DEQE, did absolutely nothing. It took a legislative mandate to mandate that this company put scrubbers on their incinerators, because prior to that, the poison gases were going out in the air. Now that same poison that was going in the air is now going into the ash that they claim is non-toxic.
Well, we have the highest rates of esophageal cancer, one of the highest rates of lung cancer. We have both soft and closed tissue cancers. That's probably much the highest in the state. I don't know anybody who's any different than anybody that lives in Andover, or for that matter in Weston, other than the fact that we have that burner there. Now, as Councillor Powers pointed out, no one can prove that one way or the other, but you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure it out. Sadly, and I am going to sign on to this because I believe in it, but unless someone like the governor, or for that matter, Congress acts and changes regulations, I have a sad and unfiltered feeling that we'll be back here in another 10 years again, and we'll fight again, which is fine.
And sadly, if DEP and if this administration sees fit to just continue to allow this to expand, then you're probably right. I'm hoping that they're going to hear our voices. I'm hoping that environmental justice communities have a meaning. I'm hoping that an area of critical environmental concern have a meaning. I'm hoping that these aren't just feel-good phrases that people make up, but they actually mean something. And I hope when MEPA does their review, I hope that all of these terms that that they make to feel good are actually terms that have meaning and not just words.
And if we don't stand here and fight, they'll never hear
That's
them.
exactly right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Zambudo.
Thank you, Madam President. And as usual, I'm going to be the guy that puts some facts on the table because I don't deal strictly in emotion. Now, I have a lot of respect, and Rosalie knows how much respect I have for her. We completely disagree on this issue.
We do.
And it's not because I don't think your heart is in it and you think you're doing the right thing. And I think all my colleagues
I am
up here-
doing the right thing, Counselor.
That's your opinion.
No, that's a fact.
Not in my mind, it's not a fact. First of all, we talked about a vote that was taken up here a year ago, and I agree with you. Council approved a resolution. What we're not talking about is 2 years ago, this council voted for a 10-year extension on this plant. Now, one of the facts is this plant is not going away. Even if DEP doesn't allow them to continue to put ash, this plant is going to be there for a minimum of 20 years. It's going to be there. It's not going anywhere.
Okay.
What will happen is they'll have to truck the ash through Revere, 60 trucks a day, a cost of a couple of $100,000 a year.
I don't think it's 60 trucks a day,
To us,
Counselor.
the taxpayers, okay? Listen, I didn't interrupt you, madam. Please don't interrupt me. I want to say
Okay.
a few things here. I'm going to get booed by the audience, but I have to put what I know to be facts on the table, okay? We have a 10-year contract extension with these people. We're responsible for the extra fees if there's any changes to the situation as it is right now. Those are facts. Those are not made up. That's not emotion. We're talking about health issues here that can't be proven. We're talking about the EPA that makes people move puddles of water when babies, it's good enough for babies to drink, but they consider it toxic waste or whatever when someone's trying to build something, okay? That's the same EPA that's saying this is non-toxic ash, okay? That's the same EPA and the DEP that are allowing this and says this is non-toxic. So I'm going on what I consider facts, but what I have to do is put out there that if you are successful in stopping them, which I don't think will happen, and it's nice to make everybody feel good and say that we believe this is toxic and this is killing people. We partnered with these people. We just signed an extra 10-year contract with them, and the consequences, if you were successful, are dire to the taxpayer. That's the way I see it. So get ready to start booing because I'm close to the end of my little rant here. You talk about the ACEC. They've got what's been told to me by people like the Audubon Society. They got this fantastic sanctuary up there. I mean,
They do have a bird sanctuary.
yeah, it's more than it's a wildlife sanctuary, from what I understand, and it's praised by a lot of the other side, the other environmentalists that aren't dealing. We deal with this all the time with the president we have now here, and the worst thing we got going for us right now is global warming. It's worse than the terrorists, the extremist Muslims. Global warming, which is at best junk science, in my opinion. Okay, and so I'm of the opinion that this is not the nightmare that it's been portrayed here, and I can't support this resolution because it's a direct affront to the taxpayers, to the small businesses that'll pay a lot more money if this non-toxic ash is not allowed to continue to be placed where it's being placed now. That's what'll happen. So for that reason, I can't support your resolution. And again, please don't take this personal because you know I have utmost respect for you. I always have and always will. We just happen to disagree on this issue.
Oh, we certainly do. And I do, the bird sanctuary that you're talking about in the wildlife, that was part of the $7.5 million settlement that Wheeler Brader had. They have to do that. It's not out of the goodness of their heart.
Does that make it any less effective?
But it does.
Oh, okay.
It does.
Okay.
It does.
All right.
And, well, as a matter of fact, they're going to be digging up part of that to put in the additional ash. I don't know if you realize that. And I doubt your 60 trucks a day of ash.
What is it,
I doubt
50?
You said 60.
Is it 50?
I don't have
I
the
said
figure.
approximately.
And unfortunately,
I said approximately 60. I could be wrong. It could be 50. I'm sorry if it's...
it could be lower than that, too.
Okay,
but-
it could be lower than that, but
But
do
the
you
bottom
agree
line-
there's going to be at least, let's say 40? Are there going to be 40 trucks coming through the city that aren't coming through right now?
I don't know. You have
Okay,
your will.
what does that do to the environment?
Well, if it's
Nothing?
non-toxic, then we don't have anything to worry about then, is it?
What?
You
No,
said
I'm
it's
talking
non-
about the trucks
I know,
themselves.
but it's
I'm talking about
non-toxic ash.
I'm talking about the carbon footprint.
But you're saying that this is
All
non-toxic
right,
ash.
Listen, I said what I had to say. I put it on the record that I'm against charging the citizens of Revere
No one
another
says-
$15 a ton
First of all,
to
if
get rid of that
the
trash.
environmental lawyers were here, they could really argue with you, and I'm not an environmental
okay.
lawyer.
Neither
but-
am I.
But
Neither
the
am I.
environmental lawyer
All
will
I
tell
am
you
is
that
someone who's up
they
here.
cannot pass
All I am is
that
someone
cost
who's
off
up
to the
here.
taxpayers.
All I am is someone who's up here to protect the taxpayer.
Okay.
That's what I'm doing.
And you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you, councilors. At this time, I'm going to ask my colleagues' permission to speak from the chair. Is that okay? Thank you. My colleagues have stated many of the facts. My resolution speaks for itself, but I do have something that I want to say on this, and it's on a personal note, and I very rarely speak on a personal note up here. I live in a house with 3 other people, 2 of which I've watched go through chemotherapy. I have an uncle who lives in Saugus who received a double lung transplant last week. This is personal. This is something that every person that lives in the city of Revere has a story that they can talk about a relative or a neighbor or a friend that they've watched go through this. We can't blame Wheelabrator and say it's because of this, but I will tell you, if there is an environmental factor in this city that we have control over, we're going to do our job and we're going to take control over it. Do any other councilors have any comments to speak on this? This time I'm going to ask for a show of hands of people in the audience that are here for this matter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, approximately 23. This time I'm going to allow people to come up for questions or comments. Mr. Bell, name and address for the record.
Thank you, Madam President. William Bell, 238 Revere Street, Revere. I don't agree with everything you do, Madam President, and the State Representative Vincent, but on this particular issue, I have to commend you. I also have to commend Representative Vincent. I know a lot of people with cancer because I'm 50 years older than you, including myself several times. I'm one of the lucky ones. I heard thoroughly what Councillor Zimbudo said, and there might be an additional cost to the taxpayers, but you know what? What's more important, your money or your health? And there's one part of this resolution I don't even think Councillor Zimbudo should be opposed to, and that's your second paragraph saying, whereas the City Council demands, Revere City Council demands that the City of Revere Board of Health be included in all discussions relative to Wheelabrator Saugus proposal. You know, and I don't think there's any problem with the Board of Health being apprised of anything. So again, for the record, I'd like to commend you and Representative Vincent for the work on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Rotondo.
Madam President, through you, would any of you gentlemen from Wheelabrator like to speak at the moment? Go ahead.
And just a point of information for anyone that's going to speak, just state your name and addresses for the record.
My name is Jim Conley. I'm the Vice President of Environmental Health and Safety for Wheelabrator Technologies. The proposed resolution opens with a conclusion about Wheelabrator's Ash Monofill.
Point of order.
State your point, Councilor.
Sir, what's your address?
100 Salem Turnpike, Saugus.
You live there?
Oh, no, that's the business address.
Right. Oh, well, that's not how we do it here.
Oh, okay. 210 Bear Hill Road, North Andover, Massachusetts. So the proposed resolution opens with a conclusion about Wheelabrator's Ash Monofill, which causes me to wonder about the process that was conducted to reach that conclusion. What are the findings that supported that? We're not aware that the council has been to the site or sent representatives to the site or experts to visit the site, review agency records, or interview regulators. The Mass DEP, the State Environmental Regulatory Agency that's issued the authorization to operate, the permit that our monofill operates under, issued a permit which includes a statement that the design, construction, operation, and maintenance of the landfill will not constitute a threat to public health, safety, or the environment. They don't make that conclusion lightly. The DEP reaches the conclusion, the opposite of what's in the proposed resolution, based on an intensive review of data, of engineering studies, of engineering plans and operating plans for the monofill, including the groundwater protection system that encompasses the ash from current operations as well as trash from 25 years of operations before the facility opened, stormwater controls, and other operational practices that ensure that environmental controls meet all regulatory standards, health-based regulatory standards. Compliance with the permit and its conditions is assured through continuous monitoring. We're subject to inspection by the DEP, by an independent professional engineer, by the Town of Saugus Board of Health, and by an engineer hired by the Town of Saugus Board of Health, who conduct unannounced inspections of the landfill at any time. The Town of Saugus's engineer was there today, and the inspection went very well. The operation also includes leaf and yard waste composting for Saugus, Lynn, and Revere, all on the same footprint, all under the same permit. The EPA, the Federal Environmental Protection Agency, regulates our industry very stringently. They set standards, including health-based standards for air emissions. They set standards and definitions for what's toxic related to waste, what's hazardous related to waste. We're subject to those requirements and those standards. We're required to regularly test the ash that we generate in state-certified laboratories using the EPA-certified methods to demonstrate that we meet those standards, and we routinely do. People have concerns about fugitive dust. That's just not the case with this material. The ash is produced in a wet process and has the consistency and appearance of wet concrete. There's no fugitive dust. The material is highly resistant to leaching, which is why it does so well under the EPA tests. I'd be happy to share information with the council or agencies or representatives appointed by the council to come in and look further into the issues of ash and the is it toxic or not question. Regarding the Rumney Marshes area of critical environmental concern and the work that we've done there to advance the goals of preservation and restoration of the ACEC, I'd just like to make a couple comments. The work we've done there is not part of the $7.5 million settlement. It was done long before that. The ACEC was designated in 1989. In 1991, we spent $17 million on building a barrier wall, groundwater protection to control, again, not only the ash from current operations, but waste that was placed for 25 years before the facility first opened. It's the biggest remediation project in the history of the ACEC. We established the Bear Creek Wildlife Sanctuary in the mid-1990s and have spent over $3 million on the largest habitat restoration project within the ACEC. That's been extremely successful. We have great reviews from wildlife agencies, and the long-term success of that also points to the fact that we can operate this ash monofill in such a way that we don't disturb the wildlife in any way. By comparison, adjacent to our site is the Dewey Daggett dump. This is a site that when standards were advanced in the 1960s, the owner walked away. He left it abandoned, and it remains abandoned, eroding into the Pines River with every tide cycle. DEP has done some investigation work there, is working on a remedial design. We've paid some money into a mitigation fund for the Rumney Marshes that has supported that remedial investigation and design, and we hope to continue to do so to support DEP until that site's fully remediated. I'd like to invite the council, again, to come out to the site, to see it firsthand, to send any experts or designated representatives over to look at the records, look at the data, and get some information to help support further discussions on this. As we go forward in the permitting process, the City of Revere is able to participate in the current MEPA process as well as in the DEP process. So no one's being shut out of those. Those are very public processes. Thank you for the opportunity to address the council tonight.
Madam President, I do have a question.
Yes, Councillor.
Sir, just so I'm understanding, you can educate me. So there is a low level of cadmium that is produced burning, is that correct? As it states here in the state's environmental affairs website, it says municipal waste combustor emissions report. So there is a certain amount of cadmium that's released, a certain amount of lead that's released, a certain amount of arsenic that's released, correct?
Those are items that we are required to test for in our air permit, yes.
Right, but they're released. I mean, you nanograms per...
Correct.
I don't know any safe level of chemical like cadmium or arsenic that I want in my water, that I want in my air. I understand you're a businessman, you have something to do. It's nice living in Andover. We live in Revere, right down the street from there.
Well,
and I appreciate that.
I live in North Andover.
I know exactly.
We have a plant. We have a plant.
You've got one right down the street. I know
yeah,
that.
Okay.
But the thing is you don't have the same cancer rates, my friend. They're not even close. They're at the bottom. We're at the top. Don't even compare us. Don't even think of it. You don't know what it's like to hold someone dying in your hands. You know, with all due respect, I do. I'm a nurse. I see it. I feel it. Don't go there. There is no safe amount of cadmium, as far as I'm concerned, or arsenic, or hydrochloric acid, or whatever. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor McKenna.
Hello. I was just wondering, so you're burning like heavy metals, okay, into the smokestack, and it's going up. But metal is very heavy, so it has to come down. It's not dissipating. Am I right?
Well, we're burning your trash, the trash from the City of Revere, Lynn, other North Shore communities.
So you're burning, but you are burning metals.
There are metals in the trash, correct?
Right, and metals are very heavy items. Am I right? So when you burn metals, metals go up, but they come down.
Right. So the EPA has set standards based on looking at the exposure to the most sensitive elements of the population to set safe standards. We're required to do tests and modeling to ensure that at all times we're not creating any emissions that exceed those health-based standards set by EPA.
Okay. So if there's a really heavy wind or, it's very windy, the wind's coming off the ocean, and your smokestack is blowing everywhere, those little toxic metals are coming out of your smokestack. They're just not going right, and they're coming down. They're going everywhere.
Again, we're required to test our stack every 9 months and to model and demonstrate that we at no time are emitting metals that exceed the health-based standards set by EPA.
Okay, and one more question. Have you done any testing for the wildlife surrounding your properties, like maybe the fish, the clams, just to see if there's high levels of mercury in, the wildlife that surrounds your area?
We haven't done any testing of the aquatic wildlife, but one thing that's interesting is we have a very significant raptor population at the wildlife sanctuary. These are birds that live 15, 20 years, come back every winter, feed on the mice and the voles that live in the grasslands, and by accounts of our naturalists, those birds are all very healthy.
Okay, so but we haven't tested any fish surrounding. I mean, there's plenty of fish. There's people that they fish. They dig up quahogs and clams and eat them. Have you done any testing? Listen, I'm a big birder, and I love it. I love birds, but there's other things in that marsh besides birds that live in that marsh, and people are there always fishing for their food. And I'm just wondering if you've done any testing with any of the fish, the shell life any other things besides birds?
We haven't done testing of shellfish or fish in the rivers, but we do have a groundwater barrier system that we installed back in the early 1990s that meets the DEP regulatory standards for controlling the groundwater within the site.
And that's great. It's 2016.
Correct. There's no emissions. There's no water leaving our site into the environment.
Okay. May I make a request?
Sure.
Will you test the fish and the shell life around your property, and and as a good neighbor, and release those findings to us?
Well, we're currently in the midst of a MEPA process in the ENF where we're receiving a number of requests. So at some point we'll be able to answer that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. So I see a very strong presence from our Riverside community in the audience. I'm going to ask if amongst yourselves, if you can appoint several speakers, if you have people that wish to speak, just in the interest of time, anyone that wishes to speak. If you'd kind of assemble yourselves, line up. If there are more representatives from Wheelabrator, they're more than welcome to speak as well. But just line up to the podium and speak at your will.
Good evening. My name is Peter Kendrigan. I'm the general manager of the Wheelabrator Saugus facility. Thank you for the opportunity to come and speak to you this evening. Every day we safely convert post-recycled residential and business waste from the City of Revere and other nearby communities, generating 37 megawatts of clean, renewable energy, which is enough to power 38,000 homes. We also recycle nearly 6,000 tons of metals that cannot be collected curbside through recycling programs and otherwise would be landfilled. Our industry in general, and specifically Wheelabrator Saugus, operates under extremely stringent environmental regulations. Our energy from waste operation is environmentally safe. We were pleased to sign a 9.5-year, almost 10-year renewal with the City of Revere less than 2 years ago. Any significant changes to our operations at this time could have negative financial implications to the city over the next several years. Wheelabrator Saugus is an important component of the regional environmental infrastructure. We provide safe and renewable solutions to the region's solid waste problem. Having worked at Wheelabrator Technologies for over 16 years, I see firsthand the company's commitment to workplace, the public, and environmental safety. Wheelabrator Saugus is directly overseen by the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection and has consistently been found to meet the department's stringent standards to protect the public health and the environment. The Monofill features an environmental controls designed and construction of the Mass Department of Environmental Protection, approval, and isolate the waste from the environment. We have been a good neighbor to Revere for more than 40 years, supporting a variety of organizations and good causes, including the upcoming Revere Beach International Sand Sculpting Festival. I strongly encourage the council and anyone that's interested to come take a closer look at our operations. We're completely transparent. We'll answer any questions you guys may have. We'd be happy to answer any questions, present, and any concerns that you may have, present them to us, and we'll rectify them. We're happy to address any and all concerns, and we have done in the past. We have a proven history of doing so. So once again, I just recommend that the council take a deeper look at this and actually come to the facility for a tour. I will personally make myself available 365 days, 24/7. So I'll meet whatever schedules you may have. I'll meet it. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
I'm not really sure.
Sorry, name and address again for the record.
Jane O'Brien. I just want to say Ward 3, is that okay? I'm not sure who has any environmental background. I do have some environmental background. And as they are speaking up here, they obviously, if you're not obviously going to do the testing on the fish and stuff, you don't even have to do it. Why don't you eat some of that fish out of that water? Because unless the stuff is actually encapsulated, okay, it's just like if you see a Home Depot or any of those major stores where they cannot build schools or restaurants on because there's all toxic waste under there, okay? So unless they have some way of either filtering all this smoke, okay, or actually melting all this plastic or metals or encapsulating it, then they're not testing the water because they know what they're going to find in there. It's going to be toxic. You want me to test it? I'll go test it. You won't even have to pay me, okay?
Thank you.
But if you don't want to do that, then you eat the fish. Let us know how you feel, okay?
Thank you.
Because what you're saying is, you know, the EPA will allow so many micrograms or whatever to allow to pass, but they're not testing the fish for a reason.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Judy Goslin. I live at 9 Rice Avenue in Revere, which is right in the Point of Pines. Small world that it is. I grew up in Andover and have many friends that live still in Andover and North Andover, very in the same communities that these folks live in personally. I think it's important that we do a couple of things to help educate the public. I personally have been walking from the Point of Pines down to the St. Charles, handing out flyers, letting people know of the public forums. I've attended the public forums. I've written my letter to Paige in expressing my concerns. And what I found in going down through the neighborhoods is that no one is aware of what's going on. They're shocked at what's happening. So I think everybody has their opinions. Everyone has their strong beliefs of what needs to be done. But now with the letter that came out today from you folks, I thank you very, very much. I was going to be walking the beach again trying to get signatures on the petitions. I came here to say, now that we have your support, I would be more than happy to get a team of folks together to get the TV notifications, get more public notice to people, to say, we have a very short window here of education. Let people make the decisions for themselves, but we all know that our health is at risk. I'm at 9 Rice. I'm very fortunate. I get the beautiful breeze off the river right now. It cools me in the summer, it melts my snow in the winter, but I know what's going to be coming across the way. I have worked, my former husband did work at landfills. I know what goes on in those landfills. So I'm asking you to help us with your support. I'll be more than happy to get the right public education out there, notifications through the TV, through radio, whatever it may be, to start letting folks know what's going on. I've made a list of the top employers in Saugus, Lynn, and Revere. I'm happy to call each and every one of them. I don't know if they'll listen to me, but now that I have your letter, I'm certainly going to work with that. I don't have my glasses on. I can't see the Zambuto, I believe, Councillor Zambuto. He talks about the partnership and the financial impact. He's giving some numbers. I think if we have some real strong numbers to say, okay, this is what the financial impact is going to be, it's Revere, Lynn, and Saugus. And if we have a partnership with the state of technologies that Wheelabrator has access to around the world, I think we can clearly and professionally identify alternatives of how to bring this to either closure and really look at the health of what we got to bring to this community. So I'm here, I'm raising my hand, I'll do whatever it takes to educate the public. We've got to come here, and I am adamantly against having this facility. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. So we are going to require a roll call vote on this. Before we call the roll, are there any other residents that wish to speak on this? If you guys want to just line up. Name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Patty Galucci, and I'm a Revere senior citizen from 75 True Street. And I grew up in Oak Island, directly across from Wheelabrator, which my family home is still there. And before this even came up, I've had my own concerns simply because I can name you specifically tonight 15 residents of Oak Island that have various forms of cancer. And for a little area like that, I feel there's something wrong. And we've all talked about it and done nothing about it all along. So I wanted to make that comment. And I'd also like to say to Councillor Zambuto that isn't here, how can he put a dollar amount, what it might cost citizens because you made a mistake 2 years ago? He should be worried that we're getting sick And I'd like to say that directly to him, but he's not here. Thank you. Well, I was taken aback, and I rode down here to address that. Like, how can you say, well, 2 years we voted for this, and it's going to cost us a lot of money? That isn't my problem. That's you city councilors that made an error, voting in error about it.
Madam President, you want me to respond?
If you'd like to, Councillor.
Okay. Ma'am?
Yes.
I don't believe we made an error when we extended the contract. And I don't believe that the rhetoric matches the science.
Well, I would
So
rather...
that's my point of view. Now, you can disagree with that, but there are scientific facts that prove one of us is right and one of us is wrong.
Well, I would rather you say that. Say, next week I'm going to get the scientific facts and let you know that. I'll be more comfortable with that than to say, to scare us, that it's going to cost the taxpayers dollars.
This is the last...
I mean, I couldn't believe it.
This is the last time I'm going to respond to this.
Okay.
I've already looked at the science, and I just said the rhetoric does not match
Well, can you
the science.
publish that and
Yes,
give it to us?
absolutely.
All right.
And these gentlemen will get it for you.
Well, we welcome that.
Great. Thank you
Yeah,
very
and
much.
then I'll come up to that next meeting
Perfect.
when you present
Perfect.
it.
Thank you
Ms.
very much.
Galucci.
Thanks for coming down.
Madam
Thank you.
President,
Councillor Rotondo.
with all due respect to the council to my left, and he's an ardent watchdog for tax dollars, at the end of the day, I don't know how much we're saving with this tipping fee that we pay, but it's too much when it costs people's lives. That's just my opinion. And if we can find a better way to move the trash out of the city, then we should look forward towards that.
Thank you, Councillor.
Hi, my name is Loretta LaCentra. I live at 30 John Ave in the Riverside. Maybe about a quarter mile, third of a mile from the plant. Have been living there for over 30 years. My husband has been there for 62 years. He is a two-time cancer survivor. He was diagnosed with a cancer that is typically diagnosed around, the cases tend to start coming in around the age of 64. He was 42 when he was first diagnosed with cancer, and he's had a relapse of another type of cancer as well. So this is personal for us. I think the point that I want to make is that the ash landfill is now full. They've been working on a consent decree, an agreement for the past 20 years to keep dumping in there. They've reached capacity, and rather than do the right thing and close it down and find an alternative, they would rather dump more ash into a landfill that's already full, opening up two areas that have been capped, closed, and planted on. Another point I would like to make, the ash contains dioxin, lead, cadmium, mercury, and other toxic elements. So for them to say it's non-toxic, it defies logic. I understand that the EPA tells them, because of the way it's mixed, that it's perfectly fine, but I suggest to them that they sprinkle it on their cornflakes in the morning if it's that non-toxic. So what I would like to know is why they did a study of cancer rates in the town of Saugus, but did not do the city of Lynn or Revere. As we know, wind patterns tend to run from west to east. So Revere would make sense, would get more impact perhaps than East Saugus does at this point because of the wind patterns. Question for Wheelabrator. If your employees have to wear hazmat suits and respirators, that tells me that there's more going on than non-toxic ash. Two other questions. I would like to ask them why they would be against a complete environmental impact report if there's no problems with environmental issues. I would also like to know why they will not allow the Revere Board of Health to be involved in a site assignment process. So thank you very much. Appreciate all the support from the City Council.
Thank you, Mrs. Sedra. Any closing remarks, Representative?
And I just want to follow up on a couple of things. I'm not an environmental scientist as you or some of the councilors here, but I have these environmental groups, Toxics Action. They were the ones who filed civil action on that Woburn site. This environmental group is supporting us and is adamantly opposed to any expansion. MassPIRG, Saugus River Watershed Council, Conservation Law Foundation, Friends of Belle Isle Marsh, Clean Water Action, SAVE, that's the Saugus Action Volunteers for the Environment, the Sierra Club, just to name a few. All of these very prestigious environmental groups and environmental lawyers would actually argue the point with some people. So I just wanted to clear that up. And you can talk all you want. The bottom line is this is the only unlined ash landfill still in the state of Massachusetts. This would never be allowed under today's regulations by DEP. And to continue to expand is unconscionable. We should be looking for ways to mitigate and protect what we have, not expand. And I would ask Wheelabrator to do that. After 40 years, I would think that they would have some alternative plans. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. At this time, Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Roll call on the resolution. Councillor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Haas?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Keefe?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Morbido?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Rotondo? Yes. Councillor Zambudo?
No.
No. And Council President Giannino?
Yes.
Yes, the resolution has been approved.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to return to the regular order of business. Calendar item number 3.
Calendar item number 3, hearing called is ordered on the application of Dehon LLC, 72 Squire Road, seeking permission from the Revere City Council to reconstruct a nonconforming structure to a mixed-use, transit-oriented development with 8 residential units and 1 commercial unit at 17-19 Dehon Street.
Good evening, councilors. My name is Corey Rhodes. I'm an attorney with D'Ambrosio Brown, LLP, 14 Proctor Avenue in Revere, and I represent the applicant, Dehon LLC. I realize you have a lengthy schedule still to go, and a lot's already happened tonight, so we'll try to keep our presentation as brief as possible. And as we know, this is going to the zoning subcommittee as well. This is the property at 17-19 Dehon Street. That's the corner of Dehon and North Shore Road. My client is applying for a non-conforming special permit, and we have the full application in front of you, which I adopt into this presentation. To better situate you, this property is approximately 1 block from the Revere Beach T station. There's actually a little triangular park at Centennial and Dehon that you may know. Unfortunately, this property has seen some hard times. It has really become a blight on the neighborhood. Accumulated trash and debris, as well as some vagrancy and, unfortunately, illicit drug use as well. As you can see from some of the pictures, this is the current condition of the property. These were pictures I actually just took about a week ago. So this is really the current state of affairs for this property. And my client feels like it's time for a change. He is not the long-term owner of this property. He's only recently acquired it, so I don't want to present this as if this was a condition that he had created. He is looking to change it, though. He's proposing a new transit-oriented development with 8 residential units. These are 1 bedrooms and studios, as well as 1 commercial unit on the ground floor. With this project, it's specifically going to be marketed towards young professionals, people who are going to be taking the T every day into work, but we're also hoping to keep them in the city and really enjoy Revere. That's where this commercial space also comes in, right on Dehon and North Shore Road. Just trying to activate the sidewalks as well as the little park there and really encourage further economic development and really be a stepping stone into developing and really bringing about a community in this area and for the local businesses. We did have a public meeting with the help of the ward councillor and did get some neighbors out to attend, and in general they thought it was a property that needed to be cleaned up, and that I think this looked like a good step forward. So if you have any questions, we'd be happy to go over it. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Rhodes. Are there any other proponents here this evening that wish to speak on this application?
And actually, if I could just show you what the current building, what we're hoping to propose.
Sure.
So this is actually, as you can see, quite a big improvement, a big step forward for the property.
Rick, could you get a close-up of that?
So that is
And
the
if you get a
proposed,
close-up
and this
of
is
what
the
it looks like
current.
now.
Good job, Rick.
Thank you.
Sorry for the interruption.
No problem. Any other proponents that wish to speak on this evening? Sure. Just state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. Thank you, Madam Councilwoman. My name is Lucretia Emanuel, and I own 13 Dehon, apartment number 3. It's actually a very nice project and clean up nicely because Dehon Street needs a nice cleaning. My own concern are two things. First of all, our current building, touching the current existing unit, is about 4.9 feet. So it's very narrow, very close. It's also one story. I'm on the 3rd floor. Having this building being a 3rd floor, I will lose the light in my living room, leaving very little light in my kitchen or my living area. My second concern is, although we're going to have 8 new apartments plus commercial, and the gentleman spoke about transit-oriented apartment because the train station is right there, we already suffer tremendous issues with parking every day, especially on snow emergencies. So that would be a very concern as a homeowner living there, because we have to fight with the space as it is, parking a vehicle, never mind snow's emergencies. So it will be a convenience for these new tenants having a train station, but there's no guarantee that they're not going to have a vehicle. So that would be even harder for us as it is. That's my only concern that I have. Sorry. So I don't know what the city, or is there a project to accommodate those existing 8 individuals, including that we're going to have more traffic now, not knowing what kind of business we're going to have on the retail level. That again, I think there is about 8 meters in the area that are
Madam
always
President,
full because
point
of
of
all
order.
the other business.
State your point,
Thank you.
I believe she's
She's speaking as a proponent.
a proponent, not an, okay, thank you.
I'm sorry? I'm speaking as an owner, as a homeowner that lives there on 13 Dehon Street, apartment 3. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I am in favor because what we have is really horrendous. Okay, it's an eyesore plus the drugs that are in the area, and we have 4 small children living there on the age of 12. So I am but my concern is parking. What are we going to do? What is the project going to do for parking, or the City of Revere?
Well, I can speak on behalf of the city that parking is an issue we're looking at citywide right now. Every single neighborhood is impacted in a different way, and it's something that the council's taking very seriously. We're looking at it in the Traffic Commission. So that's something kind of bigger picture that we're looking at as a city on how to organize. So that'll be coming in the near future. But perhaps you could speak with the attorney, and he could answer any specific questions that you may have about parking in your own property.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you
very much. Good evening.
Any other proponents?
Hi, my name is Rich Armstrong, 111 Centennial Ave. I'm in favor of this project. That site has been an eyesore, a trash collection site, and I like what they're doing. It's staying in with 3 stories high, staying in contrast with the rest of the community, so I'm in favor of it.
Thank you, sir. Are there any other proponents that wish to speak this evening? Seeing and hearing none, we'll close that side of the hearing. Are there any opponents that wish to speak this evening? Seeing and hearing none, we'll close that side of the hearing. Are there any councilors that wish to speak? Councillor Novoselsky.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, thank Jamie and Corey for making their presentation today. We did have a neighborhood meeting at the local Casablanca restaurant at 93 Centennial Ave last Saturday, and we had approximately 10 people there altogether. I passed out 50 flyers to residences 1 block radius of the location, and that's what we got, about the 10 people. There were 2 people here tonight that are in favor of it that couldn't stay because of the length of time, and they had a long day at work. But I do want to respond to the young lady at 13 Dehon Street. I know that building very well, and I am working with the Traffic Commission right now to remove those meters around Sandler Square and put in residential permit parking on their side of the street, additional spaces, 3 additional spaces. And we're making arrangements for the businesses, the Hassalam Market and Casablanca, 1 hour parking. So we'll be taking those meters out, and the residents will have more parking spaces available to them once everything gels and we get the Traffic Commission to meet and make things happen. But we are being specific on trying to correct a few things. I know the proposal is going to actually rent, because they are rental spaces, 1 bedroom, they're micro units, and on the 2nd and 3rd floor. And I was very specific on not going as high as your building. I did not want to make a tower there, and he was very open to that. Each floor will have 3 units each of 1 bedrooms, and the 2 studios on the first floors on the side of the retail. So he will rent the spaces with no parking specifically mentioned in the lease. And so the people renting it will know they do not have any parking spaces. He will be making bike racks inside the building for them if they have bicycles to store their bicycles. So he's trying to do something as we have done on Ocean Avenue, and we're thinking outside the box here, folks. We have a rundown property. We want to make a nice neighborhood. I live 3 doors away on the other side of you. So I'm as affected as much as anybody around here. So I'm looking forward to the zoning subcommittee and working with Jamie and Corey on this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Half?
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to call a meeting for the next time we meet, which will be July 27th at 5 o'clock.
I believe it's July 25th.
Excuse me?
I believe it's July 25th.
Okay.
July 25th and
On
August
the 25th.
22nd.
Yep. All right.
So there'll be a zoning meeting scheduled for July 25th.
Super.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor McKenna?
Yes, I have a, thank you, Madam President. So I have a question for Jamie, please. Mr. Russo.
Or Jamie.
Jamie Russo. I was just wondering if you know what kind of business you're going to have on the first floor?
We haven't really given that much thought. You know, we'll sort of respond to whatever the neighborhood would receive, I guess. I mean, if someone came in with a proposal that made sense for the neighborhood, the building, the city, et cetera, then we would, we won't just rent it to anyone just to put a tenant in there. I mean, it's going to be something, we're hoping that this building will be sort of a catalyst for that neighborhood and attract other development as well. But the short answer is we do not have a tenant yet. That would be step 2. Step 1 would be to get it approved, get it built,
Right.
and then we'll
Right.
fill it at that point.
But you are going to, give the people a say on what they need in that community?
I mean, if a local business came and wanted to rent the space, it's something that, from the landlord's perspective,
we certainly don't want to rent the space to someone that's going to be there for 5 or 6 months and a business start. We absolutely vet all tenants. Everything is, as you know, we manage the building across the street and a tenant left, and we've had proposals and requests over the last week that we've said no to about 15 of them. From a consignment shop, which I'm not even sure what that is, and all other kinds of things that I just don't think Revere needs. So, as I've said many times at this podium, I'm really not a stranger to this community, and you know, I'm born and raised here, so I do take it very seriously. So, I mean, I would absolutely welcome input from the city. If they have a potential tenant or something like that, we'd be more than happy to speak with them.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Powers.
Thank you, Madam President. I have occasion to go by that site probably twice a week, going over to Target or Stop and Shop or something like that. And, I can't think of any other site that is probably more deserving of rehabilitation than that particular site there. That's a great area down there because of the Shirley Avenue, Lower Shirley Avenue area, particularly because of the proximity to the beach, proximity to the Blue Line. And I think that's an area down there, if you're talking one-bedroom units, studios, you can certainly justify permitting that without the required parking, because it's right. People are going to rent that. They're going to be working in Boston or somewhere else, and they're going to be using public transportation. They might have a bicycle that they'll use on weekends to get around, go down to the beach, whatever. And this is just, I think, one of the first steps in an effort to build up that entire area down there, which is long overdue, and in my opinion, is just as much a jewel in the rough as the 38 acres down at Wonderland. Thank you, Madam President.
I agree, Councillor. We're hoping, like I said, we're hoping that this development is the beginning of future development in that area. It's the proximity to public transportation as well as the ocean and where it is in the city it's ripe for, you know, great development. And we're hoping that this is the catalyst.
An old saying, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And I think that's the right step down there. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor.
Councillor Zambudo.
Thank you, Madam President. I was at the neighborhood meeting with Councillor Novoselsky and the several neighbors that were there, and all one has to do is look at what's there now. I mean, it's a no-brainer. This is a nice little development, and I think one of the neighbors said they decided to keep this in a 3-story vein to keep in the flavor of the neighborhood. I think that's, you know, he would have been allowed to go higher than that, and
I believe it's 5 stories.
5 stories, yes.
Under the actually under the suggestion of Councillor Novoselsky, which was very important to him in that neighborhood, to sort of, he didn't want skyscrapers going up.
Yeah, and I think it's a great idea, and it
I
is
agree.
truly.
I agree also.
That's truly that neighborhood is a hidden jewel. Like I mean, it should be flourishing with development, but it's something like this might set it off because it's a couple of 100 feet from the ocean. It's 50 feet from the train. I mean, it's just unbelievable how it hasn't been till now. But I think this building will be a good start towards that. So I'm obviously going to be in favor of this when it comes before the zoning committee. But we all know Jamie has done miracles with some of the bad properties, one right across the street here that transformed the beginning of Broadway. So I'm in favor of this project, and I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you, Councillor. Are there any other councillors who wish to speak on this matter? Seeing none, this will be taken up during the zoning subcommittee meeting at 5 p.m. on July 25th. Thank you.
Calendar item number 4, hearing called is ordered on the petition of Verizon for relocating one jointly owned pole number 2253 on Washington Avenue.
State your name and address for the record, sir.
Thank you, Madam President. For the record, my name's Everett Bryan.
Proponents.
My name's Everett Bryan. I'm a right-of-way engineer with Engineering and Data Solutions, representing Verizon New England at 125 High Street in Boston. Our petition this evening is to place one new jointly owned pole. I think our agenda said it was a relocation, but actually it's a new location. Pole number 2253 on the northerly side of Washington Avenue, approximately 140 feet easterly of center line of Sherman Street. And this pole is necessary to serve a new condominium development at 770 Washington Avenue.
Thank you, sir. Are there any other proponents here that wish to speak on this? Seeing and hearing none, we'll close that side of the hearing. Are there any opponents that wish to speak on this? Seeing and hearing none, we'll close that side of the hearing. Councilors, Councillor Patch?
Thank you, Madam President. This is in my ward on Washington Ave, and I want to stress to you, I'm sure that I don't think any of my colleagues are going to have a problem voting for this tonight, because I want to stress that it's holding up the project. If we could sort of hurry this along, I know.
We definitely will. I'll put that information in to
Please,
the engineering
because
construction.
he's been such a, they've been such good developers, and they've been working hard all winter to get where they are, and just this pole is holding everything up. Okay. So, again, thank you for, if you could rush it along.
I'll definitely try to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Madam Clerk?
Shall the City Council approve the petition of Verizon to install one jointly owned pole number 2253 on the northerly side of Washington Avenue? Councillor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Haas? Yes. Councillor Keefe?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Morbido?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Novoselsky is absent. Councillor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Powers? Yes. Councillor Rotondo?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Zambudo is absent. And Council President Giannino? Yes. Yes, the new jointly owned pole location has been approved.
Welcome. Calendar item number 5.
Calendar item number 5, hearing called is ordered on the petition of Verizon Wireless, care of McLean Middleton, 900 Elm Street, Manchester, New Hampshire, requesting permission to install a centralized radio access network attachment to utility pole number 3648-1 at 230 Lee Burbank Highway.
Are there any proponents here tonight to speak on this matter, sir? Name and address for the record.
Thank you, Madam President and council members. For the record, my name is Victor Manoogian. I'm with the McLean Middleton Law Firm out of the Manchester office at 900 Elm Street. I reside at 171 Old Post Road in York, Maine, and I feel compelled to say I served time in North Andover, but my ex-wife has that house. Tonight we're here under Chapter 166, Section 22, and your city ordinances 120.20.030, requesting 2 grant of location petitions to install and operate what we refer to as CRAN equipment, which will increase the wireless capacity and fill existing coverage gaps while hopefully minimizing the impact on the town's infrastructure. The CRAN systems are small canister-style antennas, and I do apologize, the cover letter has a typo. The actual size of the cylindrical canister antenna will be 12 inches by 38.7 inches. The lease exhibit does correctly reflect that. And they sit at the top of the telephone pole. They look identical to a transformer that may be on that pole. And what this does for the cellular provider is it gives a low-level coverage where there's a high demand right now, and the capacity isn't keeping up with the demand by the customers. Everybody's on their iPads, iPhones, in the neighborhood driving by. And what this does is serve low-level areas that the towers or the rooftop antennas can't get down to. So it'll serve those lower areas, and the reason they can't get there is it might be blocked from by trees or buildings from the tower or the rooftop antennas. So this is a solution to help the lower area. And we're asking for approval tonight for the first one is the utility pole number 3648-1 in the approximately location of 200 Lee Burbank Highway. And both these poles are jointly owned by National Grid and Verizon Landline. If there's any questions on the first one, I can take them.
Thank you, sir. Are there any other proponents here that wish to speak this evening? Seeing and hearing none, we'll close that side of the hearing. Are there any opponents here this evening? Seeing and hearing none, we'll close that side of the hearing. Any councilors that have any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing and hearing none, Madam Clerk? This is not a special permit. Nope. Just a petition. Madam Clerk?
Shall the City Council approve the petition of Verizon Wireless to install one small cell wireless antenna and associated equipment on pole number 3648-1 at 230 Lee Burbank Highway? Councillor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Haas? Yes. Councillor Keefe?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Morbido?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Novoselsky is absent. Councillor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Rotondo?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Giannino?
Yes.
Yes, the petition has been approved. Calendar item number 6, hearing called is ordered on the petition of Verizon Wireless, care of McLean Middleton, 900 Elm Street, Manchester, New Hampshire, requesting permission to install a centralized radio access network attachment to utility pole number MECO number 5389 at 36 Lee Burbank Highway.
Are there any proponents here tonight to speak on this matter?
Thank you, Madam President and council members. Again, for the record, Victor Manugian from McLean Middleton. And this is the second site we're asking for tonight. It is MECO pole number 5389, located at approximately 36 Lee Burbank Highway. And again, this is a jointly owned pole. And for the same reasons I stated in the earlier petition, we'd request that this grant of location petition be also approved tonight.
Thank you, sir. Are there any other proponents here that wish to speak this evening? Seeing and hearing none, we'll close that side of the hearing. Are there any opponents that wish to speak this evening? Seeing and hearing none, we'll close that side of the hearing. Councilors?
Move to approve.
There's a motion to approve. Madam Clerk?
Shall the City Council approve the petition of Verizon Wireless to install one small cell wireless antenna and associated equipment on pole number MECO 5389 at 36 Lee Burbank Highway? Councillor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Haas? Yes. Councillor Keefe?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Morbido?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Rotondo?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Giannino?
Yes.
Yes, the petition has been approved. Calendar item number 7 is the Ways and Means Subcommittee report.
Councillor Powers?
Thank you, Madam President. As you know, the subcommittee met on the 15th of June, the 20th, and again on the 22nd. And we discussed the budget in its full context. There was one recommendation made to increase the mechanic salary at the police department, and that did pass by the City Council, the Ways and Means Committee. That was the only recommendation made to increase someone's salary, and it was done to bring parity to that of the mechanic in the fire department, so they'd both be on a similar plane. There were no other recommendations made. There are, I believe, 2 recommendations tonight in the form of motions. And it's my understanding that if we vote on, even that increase has to go to the mayor and come back and either favorable, which I believe would require 6 votes, and if it's unfavorable, then it would be 8 votes.
Mr. Chairman, would you like to include calendar items 26 and 27 in your report?
Let me get my calendar here.
Councillor Patch's motions.
Yes, fine, yeah, you can include those in the report.
Thank you.
Madam President,
Councillor?
on that motion, I'd like to make addendums in particular to the budget itself. In the simplicity of it, if we could have the mayor up regarding some of the salaries that are proposed, as well as some of the salary reductions that are being proposed. Do you expect his that he will come before this budget is approved?
We're going to vote on the budget this evening.
So basically, if we're voting on the budget as it stands with these provisions put forward, nothing takes place.
Unless he came back within, I believe, he has 7 days to come back and make a recommendation. It requires a 2/3 vote of the city council.
Correct.
To put that money into the budget. Or back into the budget if it was eliminated by the administration.
With that said, Madam President, I still don't even have, my request that I had months ago that I was told I was going to get during the budget regarding free cash that was in reserve accounts that I actually have in as a late motion. So much for transparency.
Seeing as I believe there are still some questions before the council and the mayor stepped out, perhaps we can suspend rules and take up the next item on the agenda.
Madam President,
Councilor Giannino.
all due respect, I wasn't even a member of Ways and Means. The Ways and Means Committee met for three nights. We went in detail with each department head. Every member of this city council had an opportunity to address any issues at that particular time. Every single night we sat here and waited for input. We didn't get any. We all spoke to the tone that this budget was as lean as you could possibly get with little no corrections or adjustments. I don't feel there's any need to delay any further in the process of this approval of this budget. Like I say, everybody had an equal opportunity to be here. I wasn't a member. I chose to be here because I had concerns about the budget, and I only made one request, and that request is being honored this evening. But other than that, there weren't any, and there was one other request from another councilor to reduce it somewhat. So we had an opportunity, and I think the chairperson of Ways and Means adequately put the budgets before us, and he had a descriptive of what budgets were going to be reviewed and what particular night they were going to be viewed on. And the very last meeting we conducted on June 22nd, there was the last sentence that said, any recommendations be submitted. And we also got an email in terms of, if we had any recommendations, please submit them by last Friday. So we all had an opportunity to address this. I feel no reason to see any reason why we should further delay this process. Thank you, Madam President.
Madam President.
Point of order,
Thank you, Councilor Giannino. Councilor Powers.
Councillor Patch has two motions in this evening, which are affect the budget, and I think we should vote on those. And we can take those up first before we
Yes, so
vote on
let's
the budget.
make a vote to go, suspend rules to take up calendar
Madam
items number
President, point of
26 and
personal
27
privilege.
first. State your point, Councillor.
To Councillor Guanasso's commentary, this is the first time in the past 20 years I've seen them push through a budget of this nature inside of 3 meetings, number one. Number two, I work. You're retired, or shall I say partially retired.
That's not a point of
so with
personal
all-
privilege. I
Well, I
applaud
believe
you
it is.
for work, and I give you all the
Point of
credit.
order.
But
I
we
believe I
have
have
a
the
sense
floor,
of
Madam
obligation
President.
once we're elected to attend meetings if we so
Councillor
wish. That's your, I didn't address you, number one, to say, I didn't address my comments to you, Councillor. What I said
Point of
was
order, Madam
any
President.
councillor had an opportunity to be here. You showed
Councillor
up for 1 minute and one
Councillor
night.
Rotondo.
Thank you, Madam President. As I didn't interrupt the other councillor, I'm glad that you've intervened accordingly. To buttress my comments, the last time that I was involved in a budget of this nature, George Colella was among us, and it was not just 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 meetings, it was multiple meetings over several weeks. And it was at a time where people can actually come and participate. Now, I work, so it's a little bit harder for me, and having them on the same day. But that being said, I do have several issues that I'd like to get taken up that I would like to address, but mailing them in don't address the issues. You got to address them here. I can email you all the commentary I want, but at the end of the day, it has to be addressed here at the council. That's what I'm trying to do. And we have time. This isn't like it's got to get rushed through.
Thank you, Councillor. So at this time, what we're going to do is we're going to suspend rules to take up the motions that are on the agenda pertaining to the budget, so we can look at those individually and then look at the budget as a whole.
Correct.
So on suspension of rules, all in favor, all opposed? So ordered. Calendar item number 26.
Calendar item number 26, motion presented by Councillor Patch, that the mayor be requested to reinstate the position of senior clerk typist, page 132, in the Parks and Recreation Department in the amount of $39,305 in the FY17 budget.
Councillor Patch.
Thank you, Madam President. I was a member of the Ways and Means Committee, and I attended every meeting. And this is the process that the chairman wanted to do. I did bring this up with the Ways and Means Committee, and they told me what the procedure was going to be. As far as this in Parks and Recreation, I just think that the the position of senior clerk, he's not really a senior clerk. It's the old budget way of doing things. It seemed like everybody who worked at City Hall was a senior clerk. I think they're understaffed, and where events are going to be starting very shortly, that person is needed. That person is needed at the Parks and Recreation to run these certain events or help run these certain events. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Patch. Any other councillors that wish to speak on calendar item number 26? Councillor Zambudo.
I support my colleague on this motion.
Madam Clerk?
On the motion, Councillor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Haas? Yes. Councillor Keefe?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Morabito? Yes. Councillor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Rotondo? Yes. Councillor Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Giannino?
Yes.
Yes, the motion has been approved.
Calendar item number 27.
I'd like to speak on that, the council.
Sure, I'm going to allow the council to speak first, and then I'll open it up to the public.
Calendar item number 27, motion presented by Councillor Patch, that the City Council reduce the appropriation of the position of Chief Administrative Officer, page 40, by $40,000 in the FY17 budget.
Councillor Patch?
Thank you, Madam President. On this issue, I also brought this up at the Ways and Means Committee meeting. I have the ultimate respect for Mr. Bokely. Am I saying that right?
Bokely.
I approve his waiver. And the mayor has every right to appoint whoever he wants to be his chief assistant. But every department was put to, I believe, a 10% cut for several months now, and everybody cut their budget. Overtime was reduced. And the chief assistant from the past administration, I believe, went out at $68,000. I was willing to go to $80,000. He's the first. He's new to the city. I believe in I looked him up in Somerville, and in their mayor's office in Somerville, when he worked there, they had two. The mayor had two assistants that made over. I could only check over 50,000. There was only two, and he was an executive administrator, an aide to the mayor. And he made $86,000, and the executive administrator there made $101,000. So I think this is way too much money for that job. I mean, it's nothing personal. It's just doing my job as on the Ways and Means Committee to give a fair amount to a position. I hope my colleagues agree with me, because we got to consider the morale of the people that work in the city. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councillor Patch. Are there any other councillors that wish to speak on this evening? Councillor Rotondo.
Thank you, Madam President. As the mayor's here, I would ask him what, as he has stated in the paper, what special qualifications does Mr. Bokely offer? I mean, I know he has a degree in political science from the University of California, Berkeley. I notice in his resume he doesn't have any significant managerial history, although it does state policy advisor. If you could elaborate so we could have a better understanding.
As a point of information, please.
Feature point, Councillor.
This was all addressed at our subcommittee meetings that John Powers ran. So I just want that for the record.
Thank you, Councillor. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you, Madam President. As Councilor has alluded to, we did discuss this issue previously. Just to set the record straight for a few people, number one, Omar Bokely is the Chief Administrative Officer of the city. He's not the senior aide in the office. He's not a talent that the city has probably seen in a long time. And to Councillor Rotondo's questions about what his ability is, or his managerial abilities, he was Chief Policy Advisor for Mayor Cartatoni for approximately 6 years. Through that time, he helped usher in projects like Assembly Row. He managed multiple department heads. The structure of Mayor Cartatoni's office, if you'd like me to go into it, was one that had Omar overseeing department heads. So as I started to formulate my team, my thought and my management practice will always be that if we think collectively as a city, it is expensive to hire professionals. Watch what happens when you hire amateurs. And if you look at what's happened with the consent decree, if you looked at what happened throughout the city's history, we haven't invested in our personnel. And I will say...
Well, Madam President, with all due respect, through you, Mr. Mayor, I don't consider Tom Ambrosino an amateur by any measure. Who dealt with the consent decree, first
Mr.
and foremost?
Ambrosino was not staff. He was an elected official.
He was
much
the,
like
he
myself.
He was the mayor.
He was not staff, and I'm not staff.
On the consent decree, he was the mayor. I was there. I voted for that money.
Yes, he was the mayor.
He was the mayor.
The consent decree doesn't fall
that's
on
not germane to
Mayor
this.
Ambrosino. The consent decree goes back 50 years, 80 years in not investing in our infrastructure.
It has to do with storm surge overcharge.
It transcends multiple decades, multiple administrations, and the fact is we were so short-sighted in our investment in our infrastructure, and we did not have people who were professionally looking at things like infrastructure investments, and this is what happens. You get hit with a $100 million consent decree.
But that's not what we were charged with, my friend. We were charged with storm surge discharge, illegal storm surge
that was
into
due,
the town line
that
brook.
was
Point
due
of
to
information. Point of information.
That was due, and if you didn't work,
Point of information.
Councillor Patch is a point of information.
Listen, this is my motion. This has nothing to do, I'm not questioning his ability. All I'm questioning is the motion is the salary. And I'm not questioning anything about his integrity, his ability.
Absolutely understood, Councillor.
But I see what his boss made in Somerville, and it was 101. I mean, I just don't. The way what you're making all these other departments cut, and I just think it's overpricing. Hey, it's his first year. Let him work up to 120. You know, it's fine. I'll vote for it on a step raise. But I mean, to come in at that price I think is ridiculous. So sorry.
And as I said, he is worth every penny. He has proven in savings to this community, probably at least a couple times over his salary. What I will say is that, and Councillor, I mentioned this to you during the Ways and Means hearing, is that the inference that I took that I did not uphold the standard of cutting that I held other departments to is just false. If you look at my budget, it's $130,000 less than what was approved under the previous administration. If you look at my own salary, I'll mention it again, it is $14,000 less than what the previous mayor was making. So I do take it seriously. This budget was something that I worked on for most of the last 6 months. And in terms of salary, I just want everyone to understand that, and I think everyone knows this if they looked at the budget, but neither the chief administrative officer nor myself are probably even within the top 30 or 40 highly paid city officials or city employees. So there are plenty of other people who are making significant amounts of money who I will say, don't have the experience that Mr. Bukili has.
So through you, Madam President, I would assume, Mr. Mayor, that Omar will be taking on the same responsibilities that he did in Somerville.
Omar Bukili is taking on the responsibilities that I give to him.
So will he be above the department heads? That's what he did there. That's my question here. Will he be responsible to answer to him?
Department heads report to the mayor.
Okay, so then it's not the same position. Because you just said earlier that that the department heads reported to him.
That's
And
correct.
here you're saying the department heads report to you.
They do
So it's
report
less
to
of a
me.
position.
It's not the same position.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Madam
Thank you,
President.
Councillor. Councillor Zambudo.
Thank you, Madam President. I supported my colleague on his last motion. I think I'll be honest, I wasn't going to touch the budget by a penny because I said the other week, it was in the spirit of cooperation, I'm going to give this mayor every chance to succeed. And this is his budget. And I was unhappy with a couple of little things, a couple of cuts, and some of the people I wasn't thrilled with. But I did support Councillor Patch on his motion to reinstate the person in the Parks and Recs because I think it's important. So that's the only way I'm going to touch this budget. I can't support my colleague on cutting the executive assistant or whatever the executive officer's salary, and I'm not going to touch the budget in any other way. And like I said, if I had in mind to be a contrarian or not cooperate, I might be dabbling. But I made that decision that we're going to cooperate, we're going to move the city forward, and I'm going to give the mayor everything he thinks he needs until I find that something's not working and I'm not happy with it. But so that's where I stand on this. I love Councillor Patch and I'd love to support him, but I can't support him on this one. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Zambudo. Councillor Novoselsky.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, through you to the Chairman of the Ways and Means, was there a recommendation made through the committee to reduce the salary?
To your question, Councilor, no, there wasn't. It came in as a motion.
So it wasn't discussed at the...
No.
It was discussed.
Point of information.
There was no vote. If it was
State your point,
discussed, there was
Councillor
no
Patch.
vote on it.
Yeah, it was discussed in committee, but we did it. I've been on the Ways and Means Committee for a few years, and it was done different this year. It was instead of coming out of Ways and Means, it was the chairman put forth that we put any changes through by a motion, which I don't think we ever done before, but that was the way it was handled.
Thank you. Okay, that's all I want to know. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Powers?
No, I have no questions. I believe there's a constituent that wants to speak, and then we'll vote on it.
There are still some councillors, and then we'll get to the constituents. I didn't forget you, don't worry. Councillor Guanasso.
I think I said earlier my feelings on this, that in terms of when the mayor was asking for the residency waiver for Omar Bukili, and certainly in my some of my comments I stated that it's the mayor's direction as to how he wants to lead this city and to select the personnel that he wants to drive it with him. And then certainly if the mayor feels that his top person is warranted for this kind of money, then so be it. That's what the mayor decided. There might be something in the future that might change his mind. But at this point in time, I think the directive is from the mayor. He's asked the city council to review the budget, submit your recommendations. He was available during the discourse of the budget. And I think we go forward. I mean, and Charlie Patch said it correctly. He did review this at the Budget Committee meeting, and so this is the way he submitted his recommendation, and he shouldn't be faulted for that. But I think if the mayor decides that this is what a person who's going to work in his office should get, then I think we should honor that.
Thank you,
Thank you, Madam President.
Councillor McKenna.
Thank you, Madam President. I think if we're going to make this city prosper, we've been in the same boat for the last 40 years. If we're going to make this city prosper, we really need to hire creative, experienced, and intelligent people. So, and I love my colleague, Councillor Patch, but I can't agree with this motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Mr. Bell.
Thank you, Madam President. William Bell, 238 Revere Street, Revere. First of all, I support Councillor Patch. I feel, and just give me a little leeway, and I won't say anything on the whole budget. There's a member of your board right now that was the mayor's assistant, Councillor Powers. He didn't get $1,000 less than Councillor Haas when he was the mayor at the time. Tom Ambrosino was one of the most hardest working mayors I've ever seen in my life, 4 o'clock in the morning in the office. He had administrative assistants. His administrative assistants had not received $1,000 less than the mayor. And with all due respect to Mayor Arrigo, I think the one thing in the budget should be increased is the mayor's salary, no matter who or she may be. 120, when police officers are making $200,000 is ridiculous. Department heads making a lot more than the mayor is ridiculous. And I'm consistent. As a city councilor, I made a motion to give George Colella his first big pay raise because it was ridiculous then. There's this, if you just give me a little way, because the mayor touched upon the whole budget. That budget of $173 million and change is discriminatory, both to the council, and it's not the mayor's fault there. 3 of your council members don't receive as much as the other 8. That's wrong. That's reverse discrimination by age. In the assessor's office, a gentleman who's been in government for 50 years had a big cut. He came into office in the assessor's office at Mayor Ambrosino's request. He got the best rate he could get, and now all of a sudden he's a senior citizen, 69 years old, receiving a $25,000 cut. That's wrong. In the inspectional services, a gentleman, a Revere resident, again, got cut out of it. A Revere resident originally got cut out of the budget with no warning. He had to have a counselor call him up on the phone and say, "You're out July 1st." That's not right. In the mayor's office, Mayor Arrigo had a right to replace the staff, but I understand one of the staff members was a union employee. Union employees have rights. There are other jobs in the city. There was a job in the election department. The woman, I think she's about 68, 69, went to apply, and she was told, "Oh, we want someone," according to the woman, "we want someone that speaks Spanish." Although in the office, I verified today, there's already one person speaking Spanish. It's your job not to be rubber stamps for the mayor. You work along with the mayor, and you have to speak up for the rest of the people that didn't vote for the mayor on different occasions. In that budget right now, there's discrimination by age. It's a clear-cut item there. And they're mostly Revere residents that were discriminated against. Now, this gentleman comes in, I don't know him from a hole in the wall, at $120,000 plus $500. I imagine the $500 is for longevity, I think. That's according to the budget. The mayor, and also in the last, I don't know where the money's coming from to give the people the 10% tax rebate. It's not in the budget, unless, correct me if I'm wrong. That comes to $4 to $8 million, supposedly. There was a promise made to the public of Revere. There was going to be a 10% tax. The budget doesn't include that, unless I missed it. That's
Mr.
all I
Bell,
have to say,
thank you.
Madam President.
I've been extremely
Thank you.
lenient. If
So I'm
anything else
opposed to
on the
budget
motion. Mr. Mayor.
Madam President, may I?
Absolutely.
Thank you. There are a couple of issues that I'd like to bring to light or discuss that were just mentioned. One, I take it very seriously that somebody would say that my budget in any way is a form of age discrimination. If the council would like, I can go into some of the logic that went behind some of the decisions that were made. And I have no problem doing that. It might take a little bit longer, especially on the personnel side. There is no additional $500 for any longevity or anything like that. There is a line for extra day, which is actually something that we had never budgeted for before, but when there are a certain number of weeks in a year, you try to figure out what additional amount there might be that you have to budget for. So the additional $500 might be for the extra day. I'm not 100% sure. Finally, in terms of the 10%, and I've had discussions about this with Councillor Rotondo especially, and I understand that I will be held to my campaign promise, and I look forward to presenting this council with a special legislation that says that we can move forward with a homeowner tax exemption. But I have a 4-year term, and this is the first budget through 6 months of my tenure. I will be clear that we will be presenting special legislation at some point. It is not in part of this budget, but we are, as we look at potential sites for commercial revenue, and we look at permitting fees, and we look at some of the income that the city will be getting, I feel confident that a 10% reduction with a priority for senior citizens will be coming in the near future.
Madam President, through you to the mayor. Mr. Mayor, right now, underneath that special legislation to adopt, I think it's Section 5, if I'm not mistaken, all it is a shifting of valuations. Has nothing to do with the monetary, from what I understand. That's speaking to both Everett, Chelsea, and Boston.
Right.
So there's no need, you can just shift now. It's based upon how many people own a house and rent it versus those that live in it and, that rent it and don't live in the house.
And there are different variations and different kind of tools that the cities can have in terms of implementing that. And it depends on the special legislation, the way that the special legislation is written. And there will be a handcrafted piece of special legislation that will provide that reduction to homeowners.
Since I have your ear, my question is performant to my issue regarding office supplies.
Okay.
Let's get on with the issues, come on.
Are we going to go towards a paperless system? Because if we are, then it would warrant me to put in my request to lessen across the board the 54,200 office supply within the budget. If not this year, then when do you propose to go close?
So and I think you're speaking about the city clerk budget, correct?
Yeah.
So we have we've worked with the city clerk. We've identified a couple of different softwares that would allow for online interface, both kind of internally, so for departments submitting information to the council, for the council getting information, and then externally for the residents who would be able to then see public meeting notices, be able to actually click on items, see where they land, where certain motions may be at a certain time.
So that's why we got the 272 in the...
There is an additional amount for that in this budget. I think it's about $15,000.
Thank you.
Thank you. So there is a motion on the floor, so I'm going to call the roll this time on Councillor Patch's motion, item number 27. Madam Clerk?
This motion was that shall the City Council reduce the appropriation of the position of Chief Administrative Officer by $40,000. Councillor Guanasso?
No.
No. Councillor Haas?
No.
No. Councillor Keefe?
No.
No. Councillor McKenna?
No.
No. Councillor Morbido?
No.
No. Councillor Novoselsky?
No.
No. Councillor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Powers?
No.
No. Councillor Rotondo? No. Councillor Zambudo?
No.
No. And Council President Giannino?
No.
No. The motion fails.
At this time, while we're still under the suspension of rules, there's also one other item, Councillor Powers, under the subcommittee agenda, and that was relative to the mechanics position, item number 7 on your agenda.
Is that the mechanic?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any councilors wish to speak on this before we call the roll on this? No?
That the mayor be requested to increase the base salary of the position of Police Department Mechanic on page 101 by $15,000. Councillor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Haas? Yes. Councillor Keefe?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Morbido?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Rotondo? Yes. Councillor Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Giannino?
Yes.
Yes, the motion has been approved.
So at this time, we'll return to the regular order of business and return to calendar item number 7, Councillor Powers, committee report. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
We have to vote on the budget. Budget. Roll call on the budget.
Roll on the budget? Yep. Madam Clerk?
Shall the City Council approve the fiscal year 2017 budget in the amount of $173,003,411? Councilor Gwinnett.
As a point of information, does that include the 2 items that we put in? Council Patch's request and my request?
No,
No.
you can't, the City Council cannot increase the budget. The process first is to request the mayor, and the mayor can come back with a yes or no answer in the form of either a supplemental appropriation or a
Yeah.
veto.
We are requesting the mayor this evening to...
Point of order.
To increase those, put one position back and increase the other. When it comes back to the council, we'll need a 2/3 vote. If the mayor doesn't want to do that, if the mayor says, no, I don't want to do that, we can change that, but we need a 2/3 vote.
State your point, Councillor.
How much longer before we can return back a budget? How much time frame do we have? The latest?
Madam Clerk?
The city may make supplemental appropriations up until the tax rate's set.
Thank you.
Any other questions before we call the roll on the budget?
Call the roll, Madam, please.
Shall the City Council approve the fiscal year 2017 budget in the amount of $173,003,411? Councilor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Hass? Yes. Councilor Keefe?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Morbido?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Rotondo?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Giannino?
Yes.
Yes, the FY 2017 budget has been approved.
Madam President, I just want to
Mr.
thank the entire council for your stamp of approval on this year's budget. I also want to thank the committee members who took the time out to hear a little bit more about each department and hear the details of the budget. Much appreciated. Thank you.
So, Councilor Powers, I believe the next order in your committee is the CWSRF loans, which will require 8 separate votes. There were 4 loan orders and 4 resolutions.
That's correct. Madam Clerk, would you read the loan orders and the numbers affixed to them?
So, since there are 8 separate votes that are going to be required for this, I'm going to have the clerk call the roll for the 8 separate votes.
Shall the City Council approve the bond authorization for CWSRF construction project number 4051 in the amount of $12,300,000? Councilor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Hass? Yes. Councilor Keefe?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Morbido?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Rotondo?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Giannino?
Yes.
Yes, the bond authorization has been approved. Shall the City Council approve the resolution for CWSRF construction project number 4051? Councilor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Hass?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Keefe?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Morbido?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Councilor Patch?
Yes.
This is for the CWSRF resolution for construction project number 4051?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Rotondo? Yes. Councilor Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Giannino?
Yes.
Yes. The resolution has been adopted. Shall the City Council approve the bond authorization for CWSRF construction project number 4052 in the amount of $3,600,000? Councillor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Haas? Yes. Councillor Keefe?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Morabito?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Rotondo? No. Councillor Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Giannino?
Yes.
Yes, the bond authorization has been approved.
What?
Two more. No.
Shall the City Council approve the resolution for CWSRF construction project number 4052? Councillor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Haas? Yes. Councillor Keefe? Yes. Councillor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Morabito?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Rotondo?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Giannino?
Yes.
Yes, the resolution has been adopted.
No food.
Shall the City Council approve the bond authorization for CWSRF planning project number 4054 in the amount of $1.5 million? Councillor Guanasso?
Yes.
Councillor Haas? Yes. Councillor Keefe? Yes. Councillor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Morabito?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Rotondo?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Giannino?
Yes.
Yes. The bond authorization has been approved. Shall the City Council approve the resolution for CWSRF planning project number 4054? Councillor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Haas? Yes. Councillor Keefe?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Morabito?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Rotondo?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Giannino?
Yes.
Yes, the resolution has been adopted. Shall the City Council approve the bond authorization for CWSRF planning project number 4055? Councillor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Haas? Yes. Councillor Keefe?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Morabito?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Rotondo?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Giannino?
Yes.
Yes, the bond authorization has been approved. Shall the City Council approve the resolution for CWSRF planning project number 4055? Councillor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Haas?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Keefe?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Morabito?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Rotondo? Yes. Councillor Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Giannino?
Yes.
Yes, the resolution has been adopted.
So that concludes the CWSRF loans. The next item on the agenda in Councillor Powers' committee is the Community Choice Aggregate Plan, and this will require two votes, a majority, and then a vote on the resolution. Councillor Powers, do you have any questions, comments, or concerns on this before we vote?
No.
Any councillors? Madam Clerk?
Shall the City Council authorize the process of formulating a community choice aggregation plan pursuant to Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 164, Section 134? Councillor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Haas? Yes. Councillor Keefe?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Morabito?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Rotondo?
No.
No. Councillor Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Giannino?
Yes.
Yes.
On the resolution?
Shall the City Council adopt the following resolution relative to the Community Choice Aggregation Plan? Whereas the Commonwealth of Massachusetts has engaged in a process to establish a competitive marketplace through the restructuring of the electricity market, and whereas citizens of Revere have a substantial economic and social interest in terms of greater customer choice and opportunities for savings in this restructured market, and whereas the City of Revere hereby finds that it may be in the interest of its citizens who are electric ratepayers, both residential and commercial industrial, to develop and secure such approvals and enter into appropriate agreements with consultants, experts, and attorneys in connection with the establishment and operation of an electricity aggregation plan. Be it therefore resolved that the City of Revere hereby publicly declares its intent to become an aggregator of electric owner on behalf of its residential and business electric customers, and to reestablish such plan if its operation is suspended, and to negotiate into such contracts for power supply pursuant to the plan or services for such plan, with the understanding that if a power supply contract is executed, individual consumers would retain the option not to participate in the aggregation plan and instead choose any electricity alternatives they desire, and further to take such other action relative hereto as may be appropriate and necessary.
Point of order.
State your point, Councillor.
Can someone describe to me, does this have full effect on the entire city and to its cost to the homeowner?
Through you,
Mr.
Madam
Bukele?
President, to Councillor Rotondo. This would pool the entire consumer base in the city.
Actually, Omar, you got to give your address. I'm sorry, man.
Omar Bukele, City of Somerville. But to get back to the point, it would pool every consumer of electricity in the city, be it commercial or residential. And so the request tonight from the council is to adopt a state statute that allows us to start the process to put together a plan that we would then come back to the council with for approval. The plan would allow us to control or negotiate our own rates. The plan would allow us to negotiate or choose our own sources of electricity. So on the green side of things, how much do we want from wind power energy? How much do we want from solar? And then at that point, once the council approves that plan, we go to the state entities for further approval, so DEP and DOER.
But it would have to be cost effective, otherwise you wouldn't engage in it, correct?
Ideally, through you, Madam President, both cost effective and greener than what we have access to now. That would be the ideal.
Right, so you could have green, but not necessarily...
Be cost effective.
Right.
Correct.
I'm not for this. Thank you.
Well, through you, Madam President, two things. Any resident has the option to opt out, so nobody's beholden to this.
They don't have to opt in now.
If we accept the statute, they'd be in, but they'd have the option to opt out.
Right, you'd make them have to go through the process. Most people don't know this is going on. Motion to table.
Through you, Madam President.
Point of order, Madam President. I offered a motion to table.
Through you,
There
Madam
is no
President.
other
This is just
conversation.
a point of information.
Point of order.
State your
Are
point,
we going to
Councillor.
follow our rules of order here, or are we not?
Well, there's a motion on the floor, but he has a
No,
point on
ma'am.
the
The motion on the
floor.
floor is to table. That is the motion on the parliamentary procedure.
I understand that. There is a point of information on the floor.
Nothing
On the
supersedes
procedure.
a motion to table by our rules of order.
There are public hearings,
On the
Madam
motion,
President.
Madam Clerk.
On the motion of Councillor Rotondo to table the resolution relative to the community choice aggregation plan, Councillor Guanasso.
No.
No. Councillor Haas. No. Councillor Keefe.
Yes.
Yes. Councillor McKenna.
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Morbido.
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Novoselsky.
No.
No. Councillor Patch.
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Powers.
No.
No. Councillor Rotondo. Yes. Councillor Zambudo.
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Giannino.
No.
No. The motion will be tabled.
The next item on the agenda is calendar item number 9, which is the Committee of the Whole report. Earlier this evening, the entire...
Madam President, you forgot the calendar,
Oh.
number 8.
I'm sorry, Councillor Guanasso.
Thank you, Madam President. Earlier this afternoon, the appointment subcommittee met. We had discussions on 2 items. First was a communication requesting a temporary residency waiver for Omar Bukele for the position of Chief Administrator Officer, and that was voted out favorably. The second was William Levy, 420 Revere Beach Boulevard, as a constable. That was also voted out favorably. I ask that we take these up all at once. If there's any objections from anybody, we can separate them. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councillor Guanasso. Unfortunately, since they're two separate positions, they're going to require two separate roll call votes. So at this time, we'll take up the first roll call vote, which is on Mr. Bukili.
In accordance with Section 2.06.060B of the revised ordinances of the City of Revere, shall the City Council approve a temporary waiver expiring July 2017 of the residency requirement for Mr. Omar Bukili, Chief Administrative Officer. Councillor Guanasso.
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Hass. Yes. Councillor Keefe.
Yes.
Yes. Councillor McKenna.
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Morbido.
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Novoselsky.
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Patch.
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Powers.
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Rotondo.
Of course, yes.
Yes. Councillor Zambudo is absent. And Council President Giannino.
Yes.
Yes, the residency waiver has been approved. Any more roll calls? Sure. Council Zambudo will be recorded in favor of the residency waiver.
This roll call vote will be on the constable's license that was in the appointments.
Shall the City Council confirm the appointment of Mr. William Levy, 420 Revere Beach Boulevard, as a constable? Councillor Guanasso.
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Hass. Yes. Councillor Keefe.
Yes.
Yes. Councillor McKenna.
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Morbido.
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Novoselsky.
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Patch.
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Powers.
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Rotondo. Yes. Councillor Zambudo.
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Giannino.
Yes.
Yes, the constable appointment has been confirmed.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Calendar item number 9, report of the Committee of the Whole.
So earlier this evening, the Committee of the Whole met to discuss the progress of the St. Mary's Ballpark. We met with Mr. Caramello of the City of Revere, as well as our city solicitor, who went over the contract and some questions that we had regarding the contract. It was found that they gave us a deadline that the project would be completed of the parks by the end of July. However, we're still awaiting information on the construction of the field house and facilities. So at this time, we're going to continue to follow up on it and just see what happens at the end of July, hold them accountable for any further extensions or issues that we may face in the future. So this will be put to rest at this time and placed on file. But in the future, if we need to, we'll bring it up again. Did you have a sub-report,
Madam
Councilor?
President, just if I could just put one statement for the record.
Yeah.
The contractor or the clerk of works stated that July 31st it would be ready and usable.
Correct.
July 31st.
Correct. Thank you, Councilor. So this will be placed on file, and hopefully we will not have to revisit it in the future, but we will if necessary.
Calendar item number 10, communication from the mayor relative to end of fiscal year departmental transfers, end of fiscal year water and sewer enterprise fund transfers, and ETP Scholarship Fund transfers.
Mr. Mayor.
Madam President, these are the end of the year transfers that are kind of customary. One thing that I do want to make sure we do in the mayor's office, and I think I've talked to the city auditor about this, is to make sure that these are kind of done more regularly and that we have a better handle on what our budget is rather than coming in at the end of the year to clean up a bunch of different accounts if we can do it a little bit earlier. Unfortunately, this year I'm coming again, as previous mayors have, to ask for these transfers. It is a net kind of negative, a net zero at the end of the day. We're taking accounts and money that is in certain accounts and plugging certain holes that we've had. With that, any questions that individual council members might have, I am here to answer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Are there any councilors that have any questions regarding the transfers? On the transfers, Madam Clerk?
Shall the City Council approve the end of fiscal year 2016 departmental transfers as identified by the City Auditor's verification of funds? Councilor Guanasso.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Hass.
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Keefe?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Morbido?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Rotondo? Yes. Councillor Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Giannino?
Yes.
Yes, the transfers have been approved. Shall the City Council approve the end of fiscal year 2016 Water and Sewer Enterprise Fund transfers as identified by the City Auditor's verification of funds? Councillor Guanasso? Yes. Councillor Haas? Yes. Councillor Keefe?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor McKenna? Yes. Councillor Morbido?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Rotondo? Yes. Councillor Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Giannino?
Yes.
Yes, the transfers have been approved. And shall the City Council approve an expenditure from the ETP account in the amount of $8,000 for 4 $2,000 ETP scholarships? Councillor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Haas?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Keefe?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor McKenna?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Morbido?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Councillor Rotondo? Yes. Councillor Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Giannino?
Yes.
Yes, the ETP fund transfers have been approved. Calendar item number 11, communication from the mayor relative to the appointment of William Levy, 420 Revere Beach Boulevard, as a constable.
This will be placed on file.
No, that was taken up earlier and approved. All set.
Calendar item number 12, communication from Veteran Services relative to the installation of a memorial sign for Thomas Shitani, U.S. Coast Guard, at the corner of Prospect Ave and Tudor Street.
Councillor Novoselsky.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, this has come up from Nick Boer, the Veteran Service Director, and I would move at this time that this be forwarded to the mayor to have the Department of Public Works install the appropriate sign at the appropriate location.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Rotondo?
Thank you, Madam President. Mr. Shigatani, he was a great guy. He worked over at the Boston Globe, was a long-time Ward 4 resident. Nicest man you'll ever meet, and God rest his soul. To him and his family, I'm glad this is coming up, and I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Haas.
Thank you, Madam President. Tom was a great guy, without question, and I just want to make sure we're notified of when they're going to have the dedication. Thank you.
Absolutely. We'll forward that information along to the director. On the communication, all in favor? All opposed? So ordered. So at this time, we're under the motions. I'm going to make a motion to suspend rules. All in favor, all opposed?
I'd like to withdraw a motion, Madam President.
Sure. Which number, Councillor?
It's the number 16, and we'll put it back in play later on.
16 is Councillor Novoselsky's motion. So is it one of the lates?
I stand correct. I was looking at my blindness. Number 18. I apologize.
18?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you. Yes. At this time, we're going to take up the last late communication, as there's a gentleman that's been waiting in the audience all night to get to this, so we'll make it our first motion. So item number 16-200.
Motion presented by Councillor Keefe that the mayor request the Traffic Commission and DPW to install 2 temporary speed bumps from April 1st to December 1st annually at the bottom of Park Avenue at Lambert Street and also at the crosswalk in front of the Hill School. This motion is being submitted due to the multiple recent accidents involving high rates of speed on Park Ave. I feel that waiting any longer would be negligent. The temporary speed bumps should be able to be removed during the winter season so that snow plows would be able to plow snow without any issues.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And at this time, I'm going to ask Councillor Keefe to speak. And I want to thank the gentleman here to speak on this who's waited 3.5 hours to speak on the very last item on the agenda. So the least we can do is make it the first motion. Councillor Keefe.
Thank you, Madam President. This is in regards to getting temporary speed bumps onto the Park Ave roadway. As we all know, most of us use it. It can be a cut through on the city, sometimes getting through from Everett or different parts of the city, even off of Route 1 at times. I know there's a gentleman here that lives on Park Ave. I happen to live off of Park Ave, and just this weekend, there was, during broad daylight, a pretty severe accident. Took out 3 signs, a bus stop, the road sign, and another street sign. This is where the kids get off the bus to go to school every day, 5 days a week. And then on top of that, down closer towards the Hill School, there's another opportunity I think that we should look into adding a speed bump. I know that if you ask the emergency personnel, they want to make sure that their vehicles and apparatus can get up and down the street, and I agree with that. And I also know during the snow season, getting snow plows up and down, especially going towards the hills, it can be difficult. But most smart cities out there have some form of speed bumps in their city that they're able to use. The City of Cambridge, City of Chelsea, most of your schools, most of the large universities in our state have them in their areas, and I know that they get snow in Boston and New England. So I think that we can figure it out somehow, some way, shape, or form. I am not a road expert, but this needs to happen. Like I said, just this week in broad daylight on a Saturday afternoon, you would think that there was erratic and drunk driving, but I think it was just normal speeding down a busy hill. And God forbid if there was residents that live on the street, that live right across from where the accident was, and or God forbid if there were kids waiting to get on the bus for school, where they gather every morning and every afternoon. So I'd like to ask Arthur Pantano to come up and speak on it, because he's an advocate for this neighborhood as well.
Thank you, Councillor Keefe.
Arthur Pantano, 536 Park Ave, Revere, Mass.
Thank
of
you,
course.
sir.
This problem's been going on for many years. We have many accidents, rollovers, people getting hurt. They travel from 50 to 80 miles an hour up and down the street. This past Saturday, as Councillor Keefe mentioned, we had a very serious situation at the corner of Dale and Park, and they also took out a fire hydrant, which is vitally important for our neighborhood if there's a fire, and it should be replaced immediately. Now, as far as speed bumps, this was mentioned a few years ago. I had come up. Was it 6 years ago? That's right, you were a councilor, right? Yeah, that's right. We were shot down because at that time, Chief Doherty said that there's a problem during the winter, you got to plow. Well, I have a solution. And I'm going to give you a name, and Councilor at Large Haas knows him very well. It's William McCarthy. He's a very good friend of mine and a neighbor. He's worked for the State Street Bank. He's retired now for many, many years, and he was in the real estate department handling situations as I'm going to mention. They did do speed bumps at various locations at the banks. And the problem was the winter, plowing. Well, they have temporary speed bumps, and I will give you his phone number, or any one of you up there. They're mounted temporarily during April and December, and they're removed during the winter so you can plow. He's done it in many, many projects, and for many, many years. He's retired now. I will be very happy to give you his phone number. He's willing to talk to any one of you on the council to solve this problem. We have a very serious problem on Park Ave. You know, they talk about the speedway that they got out of Boston. Well, they could bring it to Park Ave. That's how bad it is. It's terrible. People, we had a rollover maybe 5 or 6 years ago. 2 years ago? Well, I'm getting old, all right? My memory. But we've had a lot of situations. Parked automobiles being slammed into. I had a neighbor lost 2 cars in 1 week. His own and a rental. And they were parked in front of his house because of some guy speeding down about 60, 70. They draw, buses, we have a bus stop, because they come up the hill. There used to be a school. At that location now is a bus stop. People can't stop in back of the bus and wait. No, they gotta pass the bus, cross the double line. Oh yeah, head-on collision right in front of my house. So, I just hope that we can do something. It's dangerous. I don't even want to go out and cut my lawn. I send my brother-in-law. I don't want to go out there and cut my lawn. He's younger than me. I mean, I got a few years left, but it's bad. And I will give you his phone number. If you all want it, I'll give it to Councillor Keefe, and I think you have it. He graduated with you. All right, so I want to thank you for listening to what I have to say, and, we got to do something. And I really think this person, if you talk to him, he'll steer you in the right direction so we can satisfy the plowing problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and thank you for your patience and your passion for your neighborhood. We appreciate it.
Yeah, well, go get him, Artie.
Thank you.
Ralph DeChico, 49 Washington Street. Just as a suggestion, the city of Malden, Maplewood Square, has done it with it's permanent, but it's a raised, it's not an actual, it's an elevated sidewalk across the road. And that's something that you should look into. I think they're extending it down to the schools down there. It's in a couple of different locations. So that's something that the city should look into, not only on Park Ave, but wherever there are schools in the streets. And it has no bearings on plowing or anything. So maybe look into the city of Malden.
Thank you. Councillor Rotondo.
Yeah, no, Arthur, we fought that fight before and got shot down with the elevated sidewalks. I'm hoping that the mayor is a little bit more open to it this time. Mr. Mayor, quick question. Would you kindly be open to look into the feasibility of elevated sidewalks up in that area?
Elevated crosswalks.
Thank you.
Okay, raised crosswalk.
Yeah.
So I think there are a couple of different options. We can look at the temporary speed bumps or speed bumps. And the only concern I'd have, and the feedback that I've heard from other communities that do use them, is that there's a hell of a noise at night. So you can imagine on Park Ave, people still driving probably 30, 40 miles an hour instead of 70 or 80, but hitting that temporary speed bump, which I think is made out of recycled tire.
Correct.
But for those to hit, you hear the da-dum, da-dum, da-dum.
So Arthur, are you hearing this?
So I just want everyone to be prepared when we do, or if we
Look
install.
into the feasibility.
If we install temporary speed bumps on Park Ave, there will be noise. And so Councillor Keefe understands that, and other folks understand that. Much better than a car going through anyone's house, but there's still a quality of life concern. But I think it's worth looking at the raised crosswalks. And that was my first initial conversation with Artie earlier tonight. I said, I'd love to raise the crosswalks.
And I'm sure that might be something in different areas throughout the city that they would be feasible, obviously.
Right.
So.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Zambudo.
Thank you, Madam President. I would absolutely support raised crosswalks. I don't believe these temporary speed bumps are legal. They're legal in bank parking lots. They're not legal on the streets. The raised crosswalks are legal, but these temporary speed bumps are not legal.
Thank you, Councillor.
I would be in favor of anything to slow down the vehicles driving down that street.
Raised crosswalks would do.
With all due respect, councilors, I believe we can leave it to the wisdom of the Traffic Commission when it is brought up to the Traffic Commission to make a decision like that, and all councilors and residents are welcome to deal with that issue once it is before the Traffic Commission, because that's a great opportunity to put input on what method will fix this madness. Councillor McKenna.
Thank you, Madam President. Mayor Arrigo, I just want to know, would the city be responsible if the car went over there at a certain speed and the car got damaged? Would we be responsible for that?
We would have to look into you're talking about temporary.
Yeah, if we got these raised crosswalks.
The raised crosswalks, I do not believe that the city would be liable, but we can certainly check in with the city solicitor's office. But that would be, it's similar to having a curb. If somebody drives over a curb,
Right.
it's not our responsibility.
Okay.
Having a raised crosswalk is something that many other communities have done without problem. So we can certainly look into it.
Okay, thanks a lot.
No problem.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Novoselsky.
Thank you, Madam President. Ladies and gentlemen, I've already researched this, and raised crosswalks come up to the same height as the curbs on the sidewalks, full length. And they are approximately 20 feet wide for the length, for the whole width of the street. And a lot has to do with the grade that they're installed. It may be like a 12 or 13 or 14% grade. So the vehicles can ride over them without hitting them hard. And it does slow vehicles down. I've already asked at the time Frank Stringy and Donnie Goodwin from the Traffic Commission that we look into this, because I've been trying to get it on Campbell Avenue where the crosswalk is, where the kids go to school, coming down from the stairs, because people bypass North Shore Road and use Campbell Ave to get down to the Parkway. And temporary speed bumps or even asphalt speed bumps that we know in parking lots, MassDOT does not allow them on our streets, especially because they're only maybe about 12 inches wide, but about 8 inches high. And they do not allow them, it's a public safety hazard. So the answer is raise crosswalks, and I think it's a great idea, and I do think we should use them in more locations, and I still want to push the one on Campbell Ave. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, councillors. On the motion, this will be sent to the Traffic Commission. All in favor, all opposed? So ordered. This time we'll return to the regular order of business. Calendar item number 13.
Motion presented by Councillor Powers that the mayor seek out funding to restore the granite City Hall dedication plaque located at the main entryway.
Councillor Powers.
Thank you, Madam President. Mr. Mayor, I'm glad you're here. When you come into City Hall, behind the switchboard, there's a plaque, and it tells a little about the history of our city. And it's barely readable. I mean, you almost have to get on top of it to read it. And I certainly don't think it would cost too much to have that refinished and make it legible. They put gold leaf in or a black leaf or something, just so people can read it. And it looks crazy the way it is now. And I'm sure the money we spend in that $173 million budget, we can find a few dollars for that. Thank you,
Madam President, through you,
Mr. Mayor.
Councillor. I have looked around City Hall, mostly on the days that no one's around, when I can kind of take in the
Safe, you mean you're safe to go out of the office, right?
And so you're not talking about the bust. There's a head. I'm not sure who it is, but off the top of my head. But
there's a plaque.
But there's a plaque below it, behind the that little reception area.
That's right.
Okay, we can certainly look into having that either refinished or see what the cost would be to have it cleaned up a little bit.
I'm sure Paul Revere would be happy about that.
At some point, we're going to have to
Thank you.
And so to Councillor Zimbudo just mentioned something, and in my kind of walks through City Hall late at night when I probably should be home with my baby. In my travails, I have seen some things that just even lights being out. But there are a lot of little things that I think we need to probably button up in here, but especially in the back behind in the auditorium behind us. There are a number of things that need to be done in City Hall, and just to make everyone aware of that. And there are going to be some plans coming down. We've been in conversation with our insurance company about the damage that was done from the tornado. Still, I think there've been tens of meetings, probably up to 50 now, meetings with folks to figure out exactly what we're going to do. But there's going to be some. We ought to make some investment and be proud of this building.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Knowing of your intense interest in even the small things, I'm sure that will happen. Thank you. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Haas.
If that, Madam President, Mr. Mayor, you could go leave that. It'll look very nice. The plaque in back of the receptionist. If they go leaf, it will stand out.
Was it gold leaf before?
It was.
Councilor? Okay, all right. Yeah, we can certainly look into that. And,
Yeah, about time we're addressing the needs of City Hall. Up here, that's a terrible, absolutely terrible, for the employees to work here with asbestos and everything else.
Believe me, it's not something that I'm proud of, and
Yeah.
it's something that bothers me every day when I come into work,
Absolutely.
knowing that this is a beautiful building.
Yep.
It ought to be treated as such.
As such. Thank you.
Councillor. On the motion, all in favor? All opposed? So ordered.
Calendar item number 14, motion presented by Councillor Novoselsky, that the mayor request the DPW to install approximately 40 feet of chain link fence at the southern end of Walnut Ave, near 255 Walnut Ave.
Councillor Novoselsky.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, this is similar to what I put in last week on Florence Ave. There are people that dump illegally at a lot of our dead ends around the city. And this is one location. What we want to try and do is put a fence up there so they can't roll the old tires down there and the kids roll boulders down there into the people's homes below. So hopefully my colleagues will vote for this. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. On the motion, all in favor? All opposed? So ordered.
Calendar item number 15, motion presented by Councillor Novoselsky, that the mayor instruct the DPW to complete the following items. 1, shut off the traffic signal at Shirley Avenue and Walnut Avenue. 2, install 2 stop signs at the same location, which has already been approved by the Traffic Commission. 3, paint a stop line and the word stop at the same location. And 4, install a pedestrian crossing sign at 87 Shirley Avenue.
Councillor Novoselsky.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, this honorable council passed my motion for the 2 stop signs at the corner of Walnut Ave and Shirley, coming down Shirley Ave. Last year, and the Traffic Commission, through their wisdom, voted to install them. Unfortunately, the pedestrian light that was installed there about 30 years ago is not being used now, but it's still on, and we can't have conflicting items, a stop sign and a green light. The way, we did have a youngster hit by a car taking the corner there and at a very high rate of speed last fall, and that's what caused the 2 stop signs request. But at this time, I think we ought to shut off the pedestrian signal at Walnut and Shirley, put a stop bar and the word stop at that same location coming down Shirley Avenue, and about 40 feet before that intersection, install a pedestrian crossing sign. So I would ask that this be approved and have the mayor ask the Public Works to take these necessary steps. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. On the motion, all in favor? All opposed? So ordered.
Calendar item number 16, motion presented by Councillor Novoselsky, that the mayor instruct the DPW to have the city's tree contractor trim trees at the following locations. 1, Fitzhenry Square Park on Campbell Avenue. 2, all trees on Campbell Ave from the intersection of Centennial Ave to 22 Campbell Ave. 3, all trees on Thornton Street from Franklin to Beach Streets. The street sweepers cannot get close to the curbs due to the low-hanging branches. These items have been requested several times in the past through C-Click Fix and have not been completed.
Councillor Novoselsky.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I'd like to add one 4th item on trees on Sumner Street from Franklin Ave to Shirley Avenue. And it's self-explanatory. Thank you.
Thank you. On the motion as amended, all in favor? All opposed? So ordered. Calendar item number 17, Councillor Rotondo had to step out due to a family issue, so we'll table this until the next meeting.
Table it.
Item number 18 was withdrawn. Item number 19.
Calendar item number 19, motion presented by Councillor Giannino, that the mayor look into the Drive Like Your Kids Live Here initiative.
My colleagues, if I may speak from the chair, this is an initiative that some of the parents in the city brought up to me. If you drive through some of our surrounding communities, you'll see the little yellow signs that have like a little outline of a figure with a flag that says, you know, slow down or drive like your kids live here. It's just an initiative kind of to help with issues like we spoke about earlier with the speed bumps and just make people aware that speeding is an issue in their neighborhood. It's a call that I get almost weekly, so it basically speaks for itself. On the motion, all in favor? All opposed? So ordered.
Calendar item number 21, motion presented by Councillor Keefe, that the mayor request the traffic division and city engineer to reconfigure the traffic signalization at the intersections of Broadway at Park Ave and Broadway at Central Ave to reduce the traffic gridlock caused by the current configuration.
Councillor Keefe.
Speaks for itself.
Thank you, Councillor. On the motion, all in favor? All opposed? So ordered.
Calendar item number 22, motion presented by Councillor Powers, that the mayor direct the DPW Parks Division to trim the hedges to a normal height to allow for more visibility into Neponsit Street Park and Gibson Park. Further, that the area on the westerly side of Lower Bay Road be cleaned.
Councillor Powers.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm pleased to say this evening that both of those parks, the hedges have been trimmed down, so it's clearly visible for people looking at the parks. And that troubled me because I thought it would be a public safety issue with children going in there. And Bay Road, I'm going to check that out tomorrow. Thank you.
Awesome. So we'll place this on file?
Yes, exactly.
Placed on file.
Calendar item number 23, motion presented by Councilors McKenna, Powers, and Patch, that the City Council award a certificate of appreciation to Mary Jones at the City Council meeting of July 25th, 2016. In the early 70s, Mary started the first citywide women's softball, basketball, and volleyball leagues. She also started Row to Revere, and in the process raised thousands of dollars for spina bifida. Mary has never received any recognition for her accomplishments, and this certificate is 40 years overdue.
Great motion. Councillor McKenna?
I will speak on Mary's behalf on July 25th.
Thank you, Councillor. I'll open it up to the councillors or the makers of the motion. Councillor Powers or Patch, any comments? Councillor Patch?
No, I'll hold my comment.
Councillor Powers?
I'll hold my comments. If I had to start talking about all the niceties about Mary Jones, we'd be here till after midnight. Thank you.
Councillor Novoselsky?
I do want to say a few words about it. I've known Mary for many, many years, and I was even on the committee with her on Row for 11 years. I'm not looking for any recognition. I do what I wanted to do because I wanted to do it. And just so you know, Row went for 18 years and raised over $1 million for spina bifida.
Wow.
So just to clarify that, and we had some great times, and it was great rows for some of the guys and gals coming from the hand to Revere. So I look forward for that night. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Zambudo?
Thank you. Just really briefly, I like Council Powers, I could go on for hours. However, I think most of us know that Mary's an animal lover and has probably saved millions of cats over the years. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor McKenna?
So I would like to make a motion to put all the councilors on this certification, because since everybody has been touched by Mary, I think it would be great.
That's a great motion, Councillor McKenna. Thank you so much for including all of us on the motion. All in favor? All opposed? So ordered.
Calendar item number 24, motion presented by Councillor McKenna, that the mayor request the DPW to install a right turn only arrow in a dividing line for traffic going straight and taking a right turn on the pavement on the corner of Winthrop Ave and State Road at the lights at the Beachmont T Station.
So I just want to clarify this, Madam President, that this is at Beachmont train station in Donley Square. What they did was they made a bus stop there, and cars can move on the left-hand side. But when the bus is not there, there's 2 lanes of traffic. And so I just want to make that motion that we address that.
Thank you. Councillor McKenna, I just have one question for you. Are these in accordance with current traffic rulings if the DPW places these signs there, or is this something that needs to go to the Traffic Commission first and then to the DPW?
I think it might have to go to the Traffic Commission first. It
Okay.
needs to have an arrow, and I'd like to have, I'd like to put on that motion to have the crosswalks redone because they're faded and you can't see them, and that's a really busy intersection.
So I'm going to recommend that we send this to traffic, because normally if it's already an existing ordinance, we can send it to the DPW to just repaint or re-sign, but if it's new signage or a new issue, I think we should send it to traffic and then have them pass it along. All set?
Okay, yes.
Any other councilors? All right, on the motion as amended, all in favor? All opposed? So ordered.
Calendar item number 25, motion presented by Councillor McKenna that the mayor request the DPW to install a left turn only arrow on the pavement on Baldwin Street turning onto Winthrop Ave. As Winthrop Ave is a one-way, this causes cars to take a right turn at this location.
Councilor McKenna?
So, Madam President, this has been done. It's just faded, and it just reads, it needs to be redone, so it speaks for itself.
Perfect. On the motion, all in favor? All opposed? So ordered.
Late motion presented by Councillor Powers that the mayor request the DPW to have the damaged guardrail in front of 107 Mills Ave replaced. Its current condition constitutes a danger to the...
Councillor Powers?
That motion speaks for itself.
On the motion, all in favor? All opposed? So ordered.
Late motion presented by Councillor Powers that the mayor request the DPW to have the high grass around Rice Ave pump station cut and the area cleaned.
Councillor Powers?
Yes, Madam President, the pump station down there is inundated with weeds and high grass, and we get into the mosquito situation, and I don't think that's a good thing down there. I think the maintenance crew from the Suffolk County Sheriff's Department go down there and probably clean that up in a couple of hours. Thank you, Madam President.
Great motion. On the motion, all in favor? All opposed? So ordered.
Late motion presented by Councillor Patch that the mayor request the Traffic Commission to approve the installation of a handicap sign at 620 Malden Street.
Councillor Patch?
I just would like to add to this that the person there has applied for a handicap spot, but I think the records are locked up in the disability office or something. I don't know if they want to start it all over, but there is some paperwork if you want to. Oh, there's no. That's Richie Skellen, yeah.
So we can look into that and have it
Okay.
addressed immediately.
Thank you.
On the motion, all in favor? All opposed? So ordered. So there's no further business at this time. This concludes the meeting of our council tonight. The council will meet next on July 25th at 6 p.m. Thank you and have a great night.